Nobody does stupid shit like this for a picture.
He picks the locket up from the floor and tries to open it, but it's rusted and there's a trick to it. There's a scratch at the window. A large striped cat leaps into the room and directly into Grimm's arms. The way he's looking from the cat to me stirs up a memory. I glance at the locket in his hands, and the room begins to spin around me. My eyes darting from the locket to the cat to Grimm. He doesn't look away from me when he says,
"Not now, Mr. Fuzzy. I'm busy."
I gasp. It can't be. It is. Tristan.
Grimm. My brain wants to hate the girl who broke into my room, but the barbaric, possessive attraction pulsing between us like a live wire is gnawing at my ribcage and confusing the fuck out of my every thought. I know she feels it too. Her pupils are dilated, and I know it's not just because she's pissed off. Whatever this is, it's probably some twisted reaction to her having the same unique color eyes as Imogene. I don't have time to analyze it because there's a bang on the door. "You got someone in there?" Hayes asks from the other side. "This can't wait." I set Mr. Fuzzy down on the dresser and tug the girl up to a sitting position. I pull a bungee cord from my toolbox and use it to tether her wrists to the footboard of my bed. "What are you going to do with me?" she asks. She looks directly into my eyes in that way that makes me want to blindfold her as well. She's calmer now, the attitude gone. Mr. Fuzzy curls up on her lap and closes his eyes. I feel uncomfortable under the way she's looking at me, like she's seeing me for the first time. "Whatever the fuck I want to do with you," I grate. I tie a black bandana around her mouth to keep her silent while I go out to talk to Hayes. "What do you need?" I ask when I step from my room. "Kinky shit going on in there?" he asks, trying to peek inside. I shut the door. "Well, someone is tied to my bed," I say without any trace of humor in my voice. "What is it?" "The gang task force brought in Sandy a few minutes ago," he states. Jesus Christ. Tell me he didn't have anything decaying in the back of his van when that happened. No, he was clean. The package had just been taken care of. Thank God, I say, blowing out a relieved breath. Also, we think he got a lead on the casino girls. One of the waitresses thinks she might know who the dark-haired girl is. Someone named Gabby. Don't know for sure yet. It's not much, but it's a start. While the boys are trying to track her down at least, you've got something more to tell the chief during your meeting tonight. Thanks, brother, I say. Send someone to get Sandy. Don't know how long they'll have him, but someone should be waiting for him when he gets out. He won't be in there as long as you were, that's for sure. Once he starts yammering on about shit that has nothing to do with what they're asking him, they'll throw him out. Hayes laughs. No doubt, I agree. Remembering more of the words from the alley. Gabby, is that you? Immediately, words from 5 years ago pop into my mind. My best friend Gabby Vega's teacher says that putting them to sleep doesn't really mean putting them to sleep. I'm sure there are a lot of Gabbys in this world. But do they all have friends with bright blue-green eyes? I picture the girl in my room and replace her long, straight brown hair with wild blonde curls. No, it can't be. Could it? In my room? I'm not sure, but I'm suddenly in a hurry to find out. Find out who at the casino was working with them. And it better not be one of our boys. Anyone who breaks their oath of loyalty needs to be put down just like the last one. I prattle off. Loyalty above all else. Loyalty above all else, brother, he echoes, slapping my hand and pulling me for a one-shoulder bro hug. I step back inside my room and shut the door behind me. The bungee cord is on the floor. The window is wide open. Mr. Fuzzy meows from the windowsill. She's gone. But the locket isn't. It's not on the floor anymore. It's on my pillow. And it's open. I snatch it up and drop it just as quickly after glancing at the picture inside. The picture of a younger version of me, smiling up at my mother. There's a hastily scribbled note underneath it, on top of a gun magazine. My heart is hammering in my chest as I read it silently. You can close your eyes to reality, but not to memories. Stanislaw, Jersey Leo. Tricks. Chapter 12. Grim. We already have a spot figured out. It's attached to the casino. Chief David would take a cut, of course, but they aren't regulated out there. Task Force can't take a single step on reservation lands. It would be safer, smarter. It would be... No. Belly grates before I can finish laying out my plan. We're in the middle of an important family sit-down. I'm trying not to let thoughts of tricks interfere with business, but I'm finding it hard to concentrate when the person I've been searching for over the last 5 years was in my room last night, and then left, or rather, escaped. I can escape most knots. No, Belly disagrees. Absolutely fucking not. We aren't pimps. We aren't going to run a whorehouse just so you fuckers can get your dicks wet when you see fit. Marcy adjusts the oxygen tubes around Belly's nose. He waves her away, and she takes the seat next to him. Belly, Sandy says, with all due respect, as much as I love pussy, as much as we all love pussy, that's not what this is about. We need something to supplement our earnings. We have to be careful about our shipments because between Los Muertos jacking our shit and the task force keeping an eye on us, we have to be more careful than ever. Which means we can't move as much as we used to. It wouldn't just be a whorehouse. Front of the house will have more of a sports bar or strip club feel. The answer is still fucking no. My rule has always been no girls. Leave that to the immortals in Los Muertos. We ain't pushing girls into shit they don't want to do because they're desperate. That ain't us. Never has been. That's not why I started this family, and you know it. It's not how we do things. Belly's face reddens. He slams his fist down on the table. The table grows silent. Sandy looks to me. Pissing off Belly isn't a great idea. The man's got enough health problems without us adding a stroke to the list. Hayes chimes in. We aren't going to put girls out on the street like Marco, and we aren't going to take underage girls and turn them into street whores against their will. This is all consensual. Professional women who just want to earn for their families, like us. They can dance or choose to do more. Their call. Marcy reaches out and gives Belly's hand a reassuring squeeze. She breathes in slowly through her nose, reminding him to be calm. He rolls his eyes at her, but repeats the breathing technique until his face is returned to a normal color. Pops, I start calmly. It's a good business, and it's a high-profit business. Sandy already ran the numbers. We're not going into this blind. We're not going into this at all, Belly growls, his shoulders shaking with renewed anger. I can't believe you agree with this, Grim. I thought you were the voice of reason in this fucking house. I do agree with it. It was my idea. And it's a damn good one. Belle, it's all right. Hear him out, Marcy suggests. Then, do what your gut tells you, like you always do. They've taken a lot on their shoulders since you've been out of commission, and they've done a great job. They deserve to be heard. You, of all people, can't really be okay with this shit, Belly asks, turning to her with a surprised look on his face. Marcy looks to me and then back at Belly. Grim ran it by me. It'll be a good place, a profitable one that's safe, clean, respectful. I never thought I'd hear you agree with this. Not after. Belly doesn't finish. He shakes his head and looks down at his hands. Marcy leans forward and whispers something in his ear. Whatever she says causes his shoulders to relax. He turns over his hand and wraps it around Marcy's, intertwining their fingers. Marcy clears her throat. When I met Belly, I was a kid. 15. It was at a party at the clubhouse of another MC. I was a runaway. Some bikers had offered to give me a ride, and they took me right to their clubhouse. Now it's Belly's turn to give Marcy's hand a reassuring squeeze. I can already sense where her story is going, and I feel my own face reddening with anger. It was a long, long time ago in another town, in another life. A horrible life. But without being there, I would never have met Belly. He spotted me on a ride up from his own club. Saw that I was too young and that I didn't belong there. Not only that, but also that I didn't want to be there. But I was desperate and had nowhere else to go, so I did what I was told for a roof over my head and food in my stomach. She was just a fucking kid, Belly spits out, not as content to brush the entire thing off as destiny. The club who found her promised her a ride and some shelter. What they did was pump her full of dope and pimp her out, gifting her to other clubs like she was a bottle of fucking whiskey, or to anyone who had a couple of bucks. Belly takes a small sip of his own special whiskey, shit called Velvet Matador. I tried it once, and it was like drinking lighter fluid that was already on fire. He was the only one in the house who touched the stuff, but at least he didn't have to worry about us getting into his liquor. You came along like a knight in dented-up armor, Marcy says with a laugh, trying to lighten the mood. You took me home with you. Told me I didn't have to do anything for a roof over my head or food in my stomach. I fell in love with you that very day. And the rest is history. If only I could have gotten there sooner, Belly says, placing his other hand over hers. Marcy shakes her head. No, Belle. You got there just in time. She plants a kiss on his cheek. Hear the boys out, babe. Their plan is good, solid. You should be proud. I really thought you'd be against all this, Belly says again. The way they talk to one another makes me feel like they're the only two people in the room, and the four of us are intruding. Marcy sighs. I am very much against young girls being forced to sell themselves against their will. However, I'm a feminist at heart. That means I'm all for women making their own decision to make money in any way they choose. If they want to sell their pussies, it's their right. Besides, we are talking about prostitution, not trafficking. These girls will get paid, get regular health checks. We've already got a dock on the reservation lined up, I add. Belly turns to me and nods, giving me the go-ahead to continue. I lean my elbows onto the table and fold my hands. As Sandy said, I already talked to the chief. He's been looking to try and pull in some younger clientele. The blue hairs are great and all, but they're careful. Too careful. They're on fixed incomes. They budget. When they've lost their allotted amount, they're out. Younger men, on the other hand, have more disposable income. They're reckless. I glance up to make sure Belly's still with me. He is. A whorehouse, I say, pausing between Belly growls. I correct myself and start again. A brothel, gentleman's club, or whatever you want to call it, will be another reason to bring in a younger crowd. A different breed of gambler. It will be a place to send them when they need a break from gambling without having them leave the reservation because offering them a free buffet ain't gonna cut it. The chief will cover costs for anyone he sends, by minus his cut. With those types of clients plus regulars looking for higher quality than what's out there on the streets, it's a win-win. Belly looks to Marcy, who smiles at me proudly from across the table. Hayes chimes in. There's a building out there they used to run swamp tours from before the land dried up. It's attached to the main building by a covered walkway. We'll fix it up. We'll manage the place, and the chief gets 10%. Belly still looks skeptical. The girls will get an hourly rate for the time they're there, plus 50% of the fee from the Johns and all tips, including stage money. It's a cash-only business with security and cameras everywhere, which isn't hard since we already run security for the casino. All we have to do is increase staff and bring in a few more of our guys. Lan, Dix, and Ruff are already on board. And the girls? Belly asks. What happens when some sick fuck asks them to do something they don't want to do? I shrug. They don't do shit they don't want to do. They can refuse anyone at any time, and they can leave whenever they want and work whatever hours they choose over and above what's on the schedule. I assure him. The girls who want to stick around for longer than a shift will have their own rooms. Catering will be available around the clock, booze, weed, and most uppers permitted. Painkillers of any kind and H is not allowed to be carried or done on the premises. We want the girls to party and have fun, not zone out of life, or OD. Belly takes a deep breath and considers my answer. No free fucks for you guys. I don't want them thinking they're obligated to suck bedlam dick just because they work for us. Mutually consensual paid dick sucking only, Sandy swears, holding up his right hand with his other over his heart. Belly rolls his eyes. Who's running this shit show? Me, Hayes answers. Madam Hayes at your service, Sandy says, with a bow of the head and a dramatic hand roll. No, Belly says. I think for a moment that we've lost our argument, but he continues. Hayes can manage the business side of things. But I'll only agree to this if Marcy runs the show. The day-to-day. She picks the girls. She makes sure they get what they need. Marcy nods in agreement, no hesitation. I'm in. Hayes and Sandy celebrate by giving each other an across-the-table bro hug. Marcy ducks to avoid being caught in the middle. She kisses Belly on the lips. It's just me and Belly left as the rest of the table gets up and shuffles out of the room. He points to me. I'm backing you because I believe in you. Always have. He leans in close and places a hand on my shoulder, just like he did on the very first day I arrived. One day, when I'm no longer around, Bedlam will be in your hands, Grim. You're going to have to lead those boys and all our men by example. You're going to be the one who makes sure this ship of ours don't sink when I'm gone. Don't talk like that. You're not going anywhere, I tell him, hating that he's even mentioning a world without him in it. Docs tell you something new you ain't tell me? He shakes his head. I won't be gone soon. But I will be someday. That's all I'm saying. Belly stands from the table. It's always been you, son. He raises his chin. Don't fuck it up. Oh, and schedule a sit-down with Marco and Margaret to give them a heads up. Lord knows we don't need any more bloodshed in this town. I don't want to lose any more soldiers. His eyes grow sad. He looks to Digger's empty chair. Or any more sons. You want me to talk to them about extending the ceasefire while we're at it? I ask. Belly shakes his head. We've got a month. We'll handle it then. No need to push buttons on something that don't need to be pushed just yet. Belly takes another swig of his whiskey, then sets the glass down. He's about to leave the room when he turns back to me. You want to tell me something that you ain't telling nobody else? You got that look in your eyes again. This about Emma Jean? For once, I wish you didn't know me so well, I say with a chuckle. I scratch my jaw. You find something out about her finally? Belly asks with hope in his voice. I found her, I say. I just didn't know it at the time. Where was she? I shake my head, still unable to believe it myself. In my fucking bedroom.
Chapter 13. Emma Jean. I overhear Tristan on the other side of the door. Whoever he's talking to mentions Gabby's name. It won't be long until he finds out she's Marco's sister, and that I'm the enemy. For the second time in my existence, I feel guilty. Not even the knowledge that I was finally able to give his picture back can ease the soul-crushing, stomach-twisting guilt, made worse by the fact that I can still smell Grim. Feel him over me. I shiver. The connection between us suddenly makes sense when I realize who he is. All these years, he's been right here in Lacking. I want to wrap my arms around him and tell him everything, but I can't. If he remembers me at all, only two outcomes are possible. He'll either try to protect me from Marco, and by doing so, break the truce that's allowed this town peace for the first time in years, causing a war. Or he will kill me. And a war would start anyway. Which is why I've come to a decision. It might be a stupid one, or I should say another stupid one, but it's the only option that won't end with a whole town bloodbath. I know where I have to go, and what I have to do. Splashes of graffiti cover the exterior of every building lining the main road through town. Lacking's equivalent of archaic caveman drawings, all competing to be noticed. Most are signs from different gangs, marking their territories. A bedlam, bleeding black rose. A yellow bandana tied around the face of a sugar skull for Los Muertos. A tattered pair of angel wings representing the Immortals MC. Between the signs, there's a lot of so-and-so was here's, and the word Redrum appears repeatedly. As if murder spelled backwards somehow makes it more threatening. You won't find an art museum in Lacking, but you will find art created by some ridiculously talented, if not misguided, artists. A depiction of Jesus hanging from the cross. A cartoonish big-breasted woman with tiny plastic toy soldiers hanging from her nipples. A gun in a man's open mouth with a white flag that reads Boom sticking out of the back of his head. And then there are the hundreds of lifelike murals of fallen gang members, usually with R.I.P. written on it somewhere, along with the date of birth and date of death. Every drop of spray paint in this town holds some sort of meaning, a message, a warning. I tear my eyes from the paint on the walls and concentrate on the task at hand. The graffiti warnings all around me act as the wind at my back, propelling me forward, faster and faster, until I'm practically running toward the bus station. The money for 2 one-way tickets out of Lacking crunch in my pocket with each step. It sounds like freedom. I come to a stop as the bus station appears at the end of the road and take a deep breath. Escaping Lackey is risky, but so is staying. With each passing day, it only gets more dangerous, as does Marco. One of the larger murals of a fallen gang member comes into view. It takes up the entire side of the bus station. The Los Muertos yellow bandana is tied around the man's neck. I don't bother looking at the rest. I take it as a sign to keep moving, and so I do. I enter the bus station and purchase the tickets quietly and quickly, using 2 fake IDs I'd acquired after waiting for just the right ones to come along. Ones with photos who could, at a quick glance, pass for me and Gabby. Gabby's was the easier of the two. Long dark hair, big brown eyes. Of course, Gabby was stunning. There was no one who could match her, but Gianna Villanueva was a close second. Mine? Not as easy. It's half the reason I've straightened and darkened my hair. Now I at least somewhat resemble Kelly Flowers, organ donor. Peering out the glass door of the station, I check the sidewalks to make sure there's no one lingering outside who might recognize me. It's clear. I leave just as quietly as I came, without so much as causing the bell above the door to ring. I'm walking away, back in the direction I came, but I stop, feeling the sudden need to see the rest of the mural. I turn and look over my shoulder. The rest of my body follows. R.I.P. Slinky, 10/31/90 to 11/2/15. Slinky. I crane my neck, and my gaze lands on his face. I knew him. Slinky's real name was Carlos. I know that because that's how he introduced himself.
They call me Slinky, but the wifey calls me Carlos.
I spoke to him several times, but never for long. He was one of the more pleasant of Marco's soldiers. A few times, he brought Gabby and me several trays of chicken and rice his wife had cooked, after realizing our food situation was more of a famine than a situation. Carlos disappeared shortly after, and I never saw him again. I found out later he died in a shooting between Los Muertos and Bedlam. Grim may have even been the one who killed him. The thought would be sobering if I wasn't already all too aware of all the shitty situations, gathering other shitty situations like a rolling tumbleweed. Above Carlos's head, written in cloud-like lettering, are the words, "He lived and died a soldier." A soldier. Not a friend, father, husband, cousin, son, amateur boxer. And I know from just the few short conversations we'd had that he'd been all those things. Not even Carlos. Just Slinky, the soldier. That's all he was. To this town, to Marco, to his own so-called brothers. I can't live in Lacking because I can't die in Lacking. There won't even be a mural for me when this town brings me down. I'm no soldier. And no matter how much I pretend to be one, I can't fall in line like the others. When I die here, I'll be nothing. Not Imogene, the writer and storyteller, the best friend, the girl who likes magic and complaining about her hair in every weather situation. I can't die as nothing. I won't. My heartbeat sputters. I cough and try to steady my breath. Turning back around, I head toward the compound and to Gabby as quickly as my feet can take me, staying as close to the buildings and under the shadows as I possibly can. The bus tickets suddenly feel like they're burning the inside of my pocket. My heart sputters again. My confidence crumbles when a rush of doubt comes crashing back into me. My footsteps falter. I catch and grab onto a nearby light post, saving myself and my face from a collision with the sidewalk. I can't catch my breath. My hair falls forward into my face as I lean over and try to squint through the agony of my chest tightening like a car being squashed in a junkyard. What the hell did I do? I've either bought Gabby and me 2 tickets to freedom or the ammunition that will kill us both.
Chapter 14. Grim. Hayes is doing recon on the casino girls. There's no doubt in my mind that Trix and Gabby are behind the cons. I told him as much after I talked with Belly. If he finds them or any more information about them, he'll bring them to me first. Where the hell has she been for 5 fucking years? If she thinks I'm not going to try and find her after she'd escaped, she's wrong. In the meantime, I'll keep my eyes peeled for her wherever I go. It's easy. I've been doing it for years. Knowing I might actually find her intensifies my search. I scan every single person in the park, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. But the possibility of finding Trix is not the reason I'm here today. Well, not the only reason. I'm here to talk to an old enemy, turned friend, but still sort of an enemy. Margaret Boeing isn't your typical woman. She's not your typical anything. During the day, she spends her time attached to one charity or another. At night, she makes ruthless deals with corrupt men. But none of them are more ruthless than Margaret herself. Not on their best fucking day. When I find her in the park, it's midday. The sun is shining down through the branches of a large oak directly in the center of a vast open field. She's smiling from ear to ear. Her large, blue earrings shake against her high, sharp cheekbones as she laughs with the person she's serving. She's scooping ladles full of something delicious-smelling onto the waiting plates of Lacking's homeless and hungry. And since the cereal plant, which employed a large amount of the residents who aren't in the life, closed a few years ago, there's a lot of people waiting. Dozens of men and women, and even some families, pass through the line while Margaret, along with several other volunteers wearing Immortals t-shirts, serve up her famous and free Sunday supper. Her smile never falters as she feeds one tattered-looking soul after another. The smile doesn't even drop when she spots me leaning against a bent bike rack at the edge of the field, although the sparkle in her eyes dims. Margaret doesn't like it when business interrupts her charity. She leans to the side and whispers to the woman standing next to her. She removes her apron from around her neck and passes it to someone nearby who takes over for her. Margaret emerges from behind the table in all her 6-foot glory. She's thin and covered in lean muscle. Her smooth, dark skin shines without any help from the sun's rays. Her black hair is shorn close to her head with a unique slight wave to it, like a flapper from the 20s. Her bright brown eyes burn with questions as she approaches. "You know," I say, looking her up and down, "anyone looking at you would never guess that you're old enough to be a mother, never mind a grandmother." I'm not sucking up. I'm not trying to flirt with her. It's just the truth. "Save it, Grim. I got shit to do today and don't really have the time for the whole no I'm not, you flatter me bullshit." Cutting right to the chase as always. "I'm serious. A shipment of H along with 2 of my best soldiers went missing 2 days ago. You know anything about that?" I shake my head. One of our gun shipments mysteriously disappeared last week. "You got any idea on who?" "Well, it's either someone outside of Lacking making a move, or Los Muertos is breaking the fucking truce. I haven't ruled either out just yet." She sighs and rubs her temples. "These boys need to be put the fuck down. I said that before the fucking ceasefire, and I'm saying it now." She folds her arms over her chest. "Seriously, Grim, what the fuck are you doing on my side of town? Especially today? I'm busy, if you haven't noticed," she says through her teeth, never dropping the smile. I raise my eyebrows. "I'm not on your side of town. I'm in the park. Neutral territory, remember?" "I assume you're not here to help with the lunch today," she says in her strong yet smooth-sounding British accent. "To listen to you talk in that accent of yours, of course," I say, lighting a joint. "Cut the shit, Grim, or I'll make you deal with Damon." Damon is Margaret's son. If you ask anyone in town who leads the Immortals, they'll say Damon. It's a front. Margaret is the one calling the shots. She just lets everyone believe Damon is the one in charge, including Damon. It's a great cover, even if she is using her own son as a shield, in a way. Not today, I tell her. I pull the envelope from my back pocket and hand it to her. She looks around to see if anyone is looking before tucking it into the large front pocket of her long flowing skirt. She looks up at me, waiting for an explanation. That's your cut. We're going into a new business venture, and I'd appreciate the support. The whole house. Strip club and gentleman's retreat, I correct her. And how the fuck did you know? She smacks me with the envelope. Boy, I've been riding Chief David's dick since before he decided he was suddenly a tribesman. You should know by now. I know everything. I cough on my smoke. You and Chief David? She nods, throwing my words back at me. You know, neutral territory and all. Touché. I'm all about keeping the peace. She narrows her eyes at me. To a certain extent. Margaret sighs. I'm afraid that extent might be ending, and soon. I got the feeling that the second the wind shifts and Marco gets an ingrown hair in his ass, he'll make moves to take the Immortals and bedlam out. Don't think he'll wait out the month. And if he does, there's no doubt in my mind he'll burn down the entire fucking town in the process. He's getting careless, reckless. A leader like that is more dangerous to his own people than we are. She looks up at me with her lips pressed together. Her shoulders sink. I've lost a lot of my boys over the past few years. I don't want to lose any more. Not if I can help it. Belly recently said the same thing, I say truthfully. And hopefully we won't have to. You think Marco's gonna cause trouble when he catches wind of your new venture? I'm not sure yet. That's half the reason I'm here, to schedule a sit-down and talk to you before it happens. The question I want to know right now is, will you be causing trouble? She shakes her head. I've got enough shit to deal with in my territory, Grim. You posting up on the res to service gentlemen callers from the casino isn't high on my list of priorities. She pats the envelope. But I appreciate the consideration. She holds it out. That's yours. I don't want your money, Grim. I want to know that when the town catches fire, you understand that it won't just be bedlam caught in the blaze. I nod. Keep it. I understand. I got your back, as long as you've got mine, Margaret. Besides, I like talking to you. And I honestly can't say that about a lot of people. Boy, save that charm for some unlucky lady who will actually fall for it. I laugh as one particular lady comes to mind. My smile fades. Margaret peers reflectively up to the sky. How's your old man holding up? I heard Belly's had some problems. I take a drag off my cigarette. He says he's doing all right. The docs over at Lacking Memorial fixed him up, put him on some meds. Hopefully the old man will be around to groan and grumble for many years to come. Yet, he just about gave me a reading of his will last night and may know something I don't. Margaret's smile returns. This time it's genuine. Good to hear. I've always liked Belly. Even when we were trying to kill each other, I've always had respect for a man who knew the meaning of loyalty and family. We're a lot alike in that way. Except in the looks department, I point out. You got him there. Speaking of family, how's your man-child doing these days? She blows out a breath and shakes her head. Damon is a good kid, she says, like she's trying to convince herself more than me. Damon is 24, hardly a kid. But I get that she'll always see him that way. He's her son. He's also a fuck-up of epic proportions. She shakes her head and closes her eyes. She presses her lips together. But I swear to Christ, if he brings one more pregnant skank over to the house, I'm sterilizing him in his sleep. Don't get me wrong, I love my grandbabies. But I have a hard time keeping track of which mother is in jail, which one is out on parole, which one skipped town, and which one is coming after him with a razor blade. Quantity over quality, I joke. Something like that. Someone calls her name, and she turns back to the table and holds up her finger, letting them know she'll be there in a second. Gotta run. Let me know about that sit-down. Always a pleasure, Margaret. She turns to leave, and I see out of the corner of my eye a black van rolling by the park. Wait. You or anyone on your crew had the task force up your ass lately? Her eyes follow mine to the van. Her smooth voice turns annoyed in a flash. They got Damon a few days ago, detained him for 16 hours. Got me last week. Spent a while there myself under the care of Captain Lemming. They had Sandy for a while, too. You think they're going to cause problems? She places a hand on her jutted hip as the van makes a U-turn and slowly drives by just inches from where we're standing. I sure as shit hope not. Or they're in for a rude fucking awakening that lacking ain't like other towns. I wave at the van, and so does Margaret. No, it sure isn't, she murmurs. If they took Damon in and not you, then at least they don't know who's really running the show. At least not yet. Means they don't know as much as they want us to believe they do. True. So let's keep it that way, shall we? She says. I raise my chin in agreement. I won't give them shit about anything. You've got my word. The word of a criminal, she laughs. How comforting. Out of the mouth of one criminal and into the ears of another, I point out. And if anyone asks you about me, tell them the truth, that I'm just a sexy, law-abiding citizen being unjustly harassed by the law. I'm the Virgin Bloody Mary, she retorts. Her face turns serious, her shiny eyes go flat. I mean it about losing people, Grim. I'm not willing to go to war again. I don't want to go back to a time when I have to send my daughters away so they don't get caught in the crossfire. Or a time when I can't stand in the park talking to an arrogant white boy from the other side of town without bullets flying from one side or the other. If the task force plays us against each other, they might unwittingly light Marco's fucking match before he has a chance to light it himself. I stub out my cigarette and light another one. I lost a brother. As much as I like killing Los Muertos members, I like keeping my family alive more. Not sure Marco can say the same thing when it comes to us. And I'm sure he can't. I'm tucking my lighter into my back pocket when something catches my attention over her shoulder. Not something. Someone. She's wearing a white tank top with a red anarchy symbol across the front. Her long brown hair is tied up in a tight ponytail. She's making her way through the park with her backpack slung over her shoulder. She stops to tie her shoe next to a picnic basket, and when she starts walking again, she's crunching on an apple she didn't have before. You know anything about her? I ask, pointing my cigarette over Margaret's shoulder. I steady my urge to run to her, sling her over my shoulder and drag her somewhere she can't escape until she answers every single one of my burning questions. She turns her head and scoffs. Yeah, I know about her. Enough to stay the fuck away from her. Let's just say she's got something I don't want to catch. Oh yeah? What's that? A gigantic case of trouble. Margaret looks up at me and shields her eyes from the sun. Let me know when you want to do the sit-down with Los Muertos. I'll be there. I'll wear my party dress. Margaret calls out over her shoulder. You might want to wear church clothes, 'cause I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of praying.
Chapter 15. Imogene. In a town full of graffiti and violence so thick you can see it rising off the broken asphalt like heavy fog, there's only one place where I can, temporarily, feel like I'm not choking on it. The park. When my brain feels muddied, it's where I come to think, to read, write, and breathe, without feeling like I'm being crushed to death under rules and threats. The patch of brown grass beneath me scratches at the backs of my legs. I'm sitting against a tall pine tree, with my notebook open on my lap, and my pen pushed against the corner of my mouth. The bus tickets are inside, tucked away in the pages. I haven't told Gabby about them yet. I need to wait for the perfect time. Marco has business with someone in Miami and will be gone for a few days next week. We will have to make our escape then, if it's not too late.
You could be queen someday.
My chest tightens, but I refuse to let Marco get to me. Not here. This is my place. The air is warm and smells faintly like manure from the nearby pasture. There's a black and white dairy cow with swollen udders grazing near the fence. She pushes against the wire with her nose, trying and failing to get to the small patch of green grass just out of reach. I feel you, girl, I mutter. Everything I want is just out of reach, too. Gabby and I can roam free, but our situation is a lot like the cow in the pasture. Our freedom is an illusion. I look down at my notebook and start to write, escaping into my fictional world of fairy tales. For the 100th time today, I reach for the locket at my neck and remember it's not there. Before the disappointment sinks in, I remind myself, yet again, that it wasn't mine to keep. Neither is Grim. It's both a terror and a comfort, knowing that I'll never see either my locket or Grim again. I turn back to my notebook and pick up where I left off. An evil sorcerer has just cast a spell on the princess and the prince when a shadow falls over me. I slowly glance up at the man standing before me. Memo, Marco's right-hand man. What do you want? I mutter, continuing to scribble away, acting disinterested.
Marco wanted me to find you.
Well, you found me. Congratulations. I give him a thumbs up. And no, he didn't. If Marco wanted to find me, he'd just text me from the very convenient phone he gave me, which only allows calls to and from Gabby and Marco. What do you really want?
Can a guy just come say hi?
Yeah, but you can't. Memo adjusts his sagging pants.
Watch your mouth, gringa. You forget who you're talking to.
He growls. Reaching down, he tugs me up by my arm. My notebook falls to the grass. I know exactly who I'm talking to, I answer, staring him directly in his eyes.
You've got an attitude problem.
He pushes me back against the tree, and my head collides with the bark.
I don't normally like girls with such mouths.
He runs his thumb over the corner of my lip, and I jerk my head away.
But, for some reason, your attitude turns me on.
Let me go, I growl. Marco's not going to like it when I tell him you roughed me up in the park. Because Marco is the only one allowed to rough me up. Memo chuckles.
Marco's the only reason why I haven't treated you like every other piece of pussy around here. But your time is up, Princesa. Soon, Marco will either take you as his, or he'll pass you off to the next in line.
He smirks.
Which is me.
My skin crawls. He smells like liquor and body odor. Memo runs his hand along my arm, and I turn my head away and push down the instinct to bite his goddamned finger off. He trails his hands down the side of my body, grazing my breasts with his fingertips, before helping himself to a handful of my ass.
And that time is soon.
I lift my leg and send my knee sailing into his balls. He jumps back and grabs his crotch.
You puta! You're going to pay for that!
He raises his hand. The smack falls on my face with a brutal sting so sharp it makes bark from the tree beside my head explode. Wait, his slap just made the tree trunk. I don't have a chance to finish my thought. Memo releases me and runs for cover, just as the bullets begin to fly.
Chapter 16. Grim. Screams echo all around me, shattering the serenity as people scatter and take cover. I scan the area to see where the bullets are coming from. All I see are terrified faces and people's backs as they run for cover. There are no bodies on the ground. Yet. Another set of shots ring out. I look for Trix, but I haven't seen her since she darted behind a thick tree. With my weapon in hand, I raise the hood underneath my leather jacket. I'm not thinking, only reacting as I dart through the now eerie silence of the park while bullets whiz through the air all around me. The dirt explodes like many bombs around my feet. I round the tree where I last saw Imogene. I find her curled up in a ball on the ground with her hands over her head. She doesn't see me coming as I pick her up from behind, throw her over my shoulder, and make a run toward the pasture. She screams, thrashing and punching my back. "Let me go, asshole! I'm not going anywhere with you. I'd rather stay and be shot. If you force me, I'll tell—" "Trix," I warn. My blood heats with adrenaline and a newfound need to murder whoever the fuck she thinks I am. I'm in a full sprint as I head toward the fence, using a tangle of overgrown roots to leap to the other side where a cow is lazily grazing, as if he's immune to the sound of bullets. She stills. "It's you," she whispers. "Guess you figured it out." "We gotta talk," I grind out. The sound of the bullets grow distant as I make my way through the tall grass and into the thickness of the woods. Why? You gonna tie me up again?" I chuckle at her use of sarcasm after just escaping the rain of bullets. "I won't be making that mistake again. We both know you can find your way out of restraints easily. Trix."
Imogene. Trix. His use of my nickname both soothes and disturbs me. I've waited so long to hear him say it, but it's a double-edged sword of epic fucking proportions.
"Now talk,"
Grim says, hauling me off his shoulder and plopping me into a plastic chair. We're in some sort of marine stadium under a bridge overlooking the bay. It's rusted and abandoned, and, of course, covered in graffiti. I never even knew it existed. "What is this place?" I ask, taking in my surroundings. Grim looks around as if he's just now noticing where we are.
"It used to be some sort of concert venue and boat show stadium. Hasn't been used since the 80s.
"What a shame," I say. "I bet it was beautiful."
"It's not the most beautiful thing I've seen."
Grim quickly averts his gaze when my head snaps up.
"And we are talking."
I shake my head. "No, we're not." I cross my arms over my chest.
"You say that like you have a fucking choice,"
he growls. "Yes, I do, Tristan."
"It's Grim now."
"Yeah, so I've learned. But we're still not talking. I don't have anything to say to you." He leans in close with both hands on the chair above my shoulders.
"You don't have anything to say to me?"
He chuckles and closes his eyes in disbelief. When he opens them again, they're glowing with anger.
"I wouldn't recommend pushing me too hard, Trix. My tolerance is pretty fucking short these days. And if you haven't noticed, I'm not the same kid anymore. You can't con your way out of this one."
He closes in on me. I'm surrounded by his strong masculine scent. The sizzling in the air zaps all around us. "What do you want from me?" I yell, pushing against his solid chest. I stand, but there's nowhere to go. I fall back down on the seat. He hovers over me, golden eyes shining in the moonlight.
"I want to know what the fuck happened to you 5 years ago."
"Why?" I scream. "Why do you—"
"Because I need to know what happened to the girl who with one fucking touch and an accidental kiss fucking fixed me."
Holy shit. I fixed him? I knew he said he felt a change in him that day because of his letter, but I didn't know. All these years. He thinks I somehow fixed him? I'm not worthy of that statement. Of any of this. The warming of my heart makes this all so much more complicated. I didn't fix you. Just because I like magic doesn't mean I am magic. It was a fluke. Coincidental timing. You fixed yourself.
I don't think you have magical powers, but I know what I felt when you touched me. I wasn't just imagining it, because I felt it again in the alley and in my room.
He lowers his voice.
I feel it now.
I swallow hard. I don't know what to say, but as much as I want to tell him the truth, it's too dangerous for both of us. I know it now more than ever, as the wind shifts all around us, like it's pushing us together. I clear my throat and try to sound casual. I just left town, that's all. Moved homes. He shakes his head.
Your records were sealed. You don't have your records sealed when you just switch homes. I've been in the system. I know how it works better than anyone.
I look him up and down. You're so different now. There's a twinge of disappointment in my voice, and a lot of appreciation I can't help but have for the man he's grown into. It makes me want to lean in closer and kick him away all at the same time.
Now, you're gonna tell me the truth, he orders. Where the fuck have you been for the last 5 years?
Here and there, I say with a shrug. Can I go now? Grim runs his hands through his hair in frustration.
Fuck, Trix. Why won't you just answer the fucking questions? I know you feel this thing between us.
Please don't make this any harder on me than it already is, I beg.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
I slap my hands on my legs. It means that I can't fucking tell you, okay?
Why? And don't fucking lie to me.
Don't you see? That's the problem. I can't tell you, but I can't fucking lie to you either. Well, I can, but I don't want to lie. Not now. I meet his hard gaze. Not to you.
Then don't.
I don't have a choice, I say as tears form in my eyes. Why do you even care? We met once. We wrote a few letters. In the grand scheme of things, it was insignificant. We were strangers. Still are.
Bullshit.
I thought you said you didn't want to lie to me. Grim sits down in the blue stadium chair next to me, and for a moment, we both quietly look over the bay. It's Grim who finally breaks the silence.
What did you mean when you said you loved the boy in the picture?
Confusion and panic set in. I give up my quest for the truth and revert back to what's easier for me. Lies. I really didn't mean that. I backpedal.
Yes, you did, Grim replies. If you can't tell me where you've been or why you said that, at least answer me this. Why are you here?
You carried me here, I say sarcastically.
Don't push me. Why are you here in Lacking?
Because I was recruited by a gang I never wanted to be a part of and threatened with my life and the life of my best friend. Did I mention the man who took me prisoner is also your mortal enemy? Yeah, I've been working with him for 5 years. I sigh and give myself time to come up with a semi-truth that might appease Grim. I got sent to a new home just outside the city. I'm just waiting to age out so I can figure out what to do with my life. I fib. They had a foster kid they took in a while back. He was not well, mentally. He was sent away and they moved, but he still blamed them. He sent threatening letters. So when they took me in, they just moved again. They had CPS seal their address and my records. You know, safety precaution. They didn't want me talking about it, and they don't want me associating with anyone in Lacking, because they don't want me caught up in the life. I tried changing the subject. Did that family adopt you?
Yeah, but it was more like recruited.
He replies. I know the feeling, I mutter, instantly regretting my words.
How so?
The couple that took me in, they did it because of my record. Because they wanted an accomplice to run tricks for them. I shrug. It's not so bad. A little petty theft here and there. A few well-timed lies. Besides, I'll be 18 in a few months, so it's not like I've got to stay long. They're strict about where I work and when I have to be back. But it could be worse.
Could be worse?
Grim asks. And for the first time, I see the corner of his lip tug up in a half smile that I swear stops my fucking heart from beating.
Like you could end up sneaking into a member of Bedlam's window and having a gun aimed at your head?
I roll my eyes. Well, when you put it that way, I repeat my words from the other night. You make it sound like a bad thing. Grim shakes his head.
It is. This could have ended very differently. If you were anyone else. If you were with the Immortals or worse, Los Muertos.
He shakes his head like he doesn't want to think about it.
You'd be dead right now.
His words are a twisted dagger in my chest and fuel to keep up the lies. Well, good for me that I'm just good old Imogene, up to her same old tricks, I say, clasping my hands together on my lap and looking out onto the water.
I take it that you and Gabby are behind the casino cons.
No. I don't even try to sound convincing. I have to give him something so he feels like he got one over on me. Manipulation is a give and take. This is my give. He laughs, and it pains me that I can't laugh right along with him. He's beautiful when he laughs. He pulls the locket out of his jacket and hands it to me.
Here.
No, I told you I would give it back someday, and I finally got a chance.
It isn't that someday yet,
he says. I take it and rub my thumb over the cold metal and instantly feel comfort. I lift it to my neck and close the clasp, sighing in relief. You know, I never asked you about your mother. What happened to her? I ask. She was so beautiful. You have her eyes, you know. Grim flexes his fingers.
We lived a few towns over, but she drove to Lacking every day for work. She was killed. Got caught in a drive-by shooting on her way through town, heading home from her shift at the casino.
I'm sorry, I offer. I don't want to ask the next question that comes out of my mouth, but I have to know. Did you ever find out who was responsible? His jaw tightens as he grinds out the words I know are coming, but don't want to hear.
Los Muertos.
Silence passes between us, and so does that magnetic current raising every hair on my arm. I'm trapped between a life I can't live and a death I don't want.
I looked for you, you know,
he says, breaking the silence.
I even went to your Aunt Ruby's house. She was as useless as you made her out to be, and more.
His words pierce straight through my heart. I feel sick, guilty, and surprised. He knew my records were sealed, but that could be figured out with one phone call. You looked for me? I ask with genuine surprise. I turn toward him. For how long? Grim's gaze meets mine.
After my last letter came back to me?
He pauses.
Every single fucking day.
Every day? I practically yell. Every day for how long, Grim? I don't know why I've raised my voice. I'm half surprised and a whole lot angry, but I know it's not at him.
5 years,
he admits.
Right up until you stumbled into my window the other night, and I found out it was you. The hair threw me off at first. That and the fact that you've grown up.
His Adam's apple bobs in his neck behind his tattoos.
I like your hair now, but I loved your crazy curls too.
I think you and Gabby might be the only people who've ever said that to me. I smooth down the hair falling over my shoulder. I straighten it to blend in better when I run scams. The curls kind of stand out. I also straighten it to blend in better around Los Muertos, so I won't be bothered. I would dye my entire body the color of a brick wall covered in graffiti if I could.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. But you can straighten it all you want. You, Imogene Parrish, will always stand out.
My throat tightens. I'm cringing on the inside with every word that comes out of my mouth. I mean, I guess I've thought about you a couple times over the years.
Bullshit.
He points to the locket in my hand.
You wearing that around your neck 5 years later tells me otherwise.
He drags his gaze from the locket to my lips, then to my eyes.
The look on your fucking face tells me otherwise. You're a good liar, but now that I know it's you, I see it all over your face. I feel it. Your words say one thing, and the rest of you says another.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that. The look on my face, I ask, feeling myself heating from the inside out. I'm suddenly angry at him for making me feel this way. At myself for too much to fucking list. And at the fucking world, because why, after all this time, does Grim come back into my life now? When we're these people, what kind of look is it that you think you see? His eyes travel back to my mouth. His tongue darts out, wetting his bottom lip.
Like you felt this thing between us as much as I did when we met. Like you can feel it now. Although now it's stronger. Different.
His voice turns low, rough.
Like you want to know what it feels like for me to kiss you. What my bare skin would feel like pressed against yours. How, if it feels like this, just sitting next to you, how would it feel if I was inside you? How hard I can make you come.
My nipples stiffen. My mind is awash with the picture he's just painted of something I desperately want to moan yes to. I shake my head adamantly and pretend my lower stomach isn't clenching at his words. That everything in me hasn't tightened and contracted and answered him without the lie I tell him. That's not what I'm thinking. That's not the look on my face. You're wrong. But my entire body comes alive at the thought of Grim's lips on mine. He's not wrong. He's right. So right, it's like he's peering inside my mind. My skin feels tight around my muscles. My entire being tingles in anticipation of something that's not going to happen. Not even a little bit, I tell him. He gives me a look that says exactly what he knows I am. Liar.
Fine, I'll make you a deal,
he says.
One kiss. If you still want to go, you can go.
He leans in closer. He pushes a hair from my eyes and tucks it behind my ears, searching my eyes for an answer.
You're not going to be able to lie your way through a kiss, Trix.
Want a bet? One kiss. One kiss and I can go. Grim will be nothing but a memory when I'm on the bus to freedom with Gabby next week. I won't let him affect me. I can't. I shrug. Sure, but I don't see the point. I start to say when Grim reaches over and hauls me onto his lap. My legs straddle his strong thighs. He tangles his hands in my hair and pulls my face to his. Our lips crush together. Fuck. I knew it was going to be bad. And by bad, I mean, holy shit. It's not just a kiss. The word alone does what's happening a huge injustice. It's something else. Something more. It's everything. The kiss spreads from my mouth to the rest of my body. I feel it everywhere. I feel him everywhere. He opens his mouth, and my reaction is instinctual. I can't help but to respond by opening my own. Our tongues meet, and it's as if someone shot a gun off at the starting gate. All bets are off, all lies temporarily forgotten. The truth is before me, and it's grim and here and now. Wetness pools in my panties, and I fight the urge to grind myself against his lap. Thunder claps overhead. Rain pours down on top of us. We claw at one another like two cats fighting in an alleyway. Angry and pent up and... Fuck, he feels so good. My breasts are heavy with need and aching with a pain I didn't know was possible. We are the only umbrellas we will ever need. And how I wish that were fucking true. I can't make myself stop anymore. I rock against the hard length of his monstrous erection, wishing there were no clothes separating us.
Fuck, Trix. Yes,
he hisses.
You ever felt anything like this?
He groans into my mouth.
I haven't. Never anything like this. Anything like you. It's better than I fucking imagined.
You've imagined? I ask breathlessly as his mouth sucks and kisses down my neck.
Since the alley. Before I knew it was even you. All I knew was this feeling. I tried to shove it off, but the rest of me didn't exactly get the message. I thought of you a lot. At night. Stroking myself.
He's so hard beneath me. I've never felt anything like it. Never wanted to. But I can't help the urge that comes over me to see it, touch it, taste it. I've never been kissed or anything, I reply hastily. Just our accidental one. Only you. It's only ever been you. He holds my face in his hands.
I can tell you that they don't feel like this. Not fucking ever.
He pauses.
I still can't believe it's you.
He strokes his thumb over my bottom lip.
My Trix,
he groans, before starting the kiss all over again. This time we're even more aggressive, pulling at each other's hair and biting at one another's lips. I wish our clothes barrier was the only barrier between us, but it's not. There's a much bigger and deadlier one.
My Trix.
I suddenly feel sick. I feel like the traitor I am, but never signed up to be. I just can't, I say, pulling away and leaping off his lap.
Trix!
Grim calls, standing from the seat just as lightning strikes a power pole in the bay, causing a bright firework-type explosion, followed by a rain of sparks falling into the shiny black water. Grim turns his head toward the bay. I don't waste the distraction. I make a run for it. I'm out of the stadium and far down the footpath, splashing through the mud. Rain soaks through my clothes. Thunder booms overhead and in my heart. I trip and fall face first into the mud, wishing it was a sinkhole and would swallow me down into the earth. So I wouldn't have to feel this way. So I wouldn't have to run from the only person in the world I've ever connected with, besides Gabby. Grim's booming voice rises above the thunder and rain, echoing all around me, surrounding me in his own anger and pain.
You can lie with your words, but your body tells the truth. You can't fucking run from this, Trix.
Yes, I can. I have to, I whisper. Or so many people will die because of me. The pain in my heart makes my vision blur. I lift myself from the mud and choke back sobs as I run from what most would consider the most frightening man on the planet. But to me, he's Tristan. Grim. I'm not running from him. I'm running from war, from needless bloodshed. I'm running from the dangerous feeling I get when I'm around him. The one that makes me feel like I'm home for the first time in my life. As I've thought before, telling Grim I'm with Los Muertos only has two possible outcomes. One is that he kills me because of who I am and starts another war. Two is that he fights for me and starts another war. Before he figured out who I was, I should have told him and let him kill me, because feeling nothing has to be better than feeling this surging pain, like I've been hit by a train and left for dead. Because now I know he'd fight for me, and that somehow makes it all so much worse. I run as fast as I can, stumbling through the mud. In the process, I lose my shoes. I'm barefoot the entire way back to my prison, while telling myself the biggest lie I've ever told. I try and try, but can't even begin to make myself believe this one. The one that's crushing me from the inside out. You don't really love him.
Chapter 17. Grim. Tell us, Grim. Why do you have us all gathered here today? Marco asks, leaning back in his chair, placing his feet up on the table. His elbows in the air with his hands folded behind his head. The guy makes my skin crawl. Always has. I know Marco was too young at the time to be personally responsible for my mother's death, but I'm almost positive he was behind Diggers. I brush off the thoughts of revenge and try to focus on the business at hand, while also trying not to think of the way Emma Jean moved on my lap, pushing herself against me, her tits rubbing my chest. The heat from her. I make myself focus. As you know, our truce has terms. I start. One of those terms is that any new ventures have to be fully disclosed to both the Immortals and Los Muertos. Margaret nods from across the table, leaning to the side like the elegant gangster she is. Marco sits up straight and takes interest. He moves the toothpick from one side of his mouth to the other. Bedlam will be opening up a strip club/brothel on the reservation. We ain't gonna be running girls on the street. It's going to be a somewhat legitimate business venture that won't interfere with operations from either of your organizations. Where are you getting the girls? Margaret asks. We're putting out feelers for those interested who live in the area and want to earn. Marcy will be interviewing and running the day-to-day operations. We will only take on girls who don't have affiliations with either gang or affiliations exclusively with Bedlam. Margaret folds her hands on the table. You know that the Immortals don't run girls. Not officially, anyway. We like to keep our business to the highways and imports-exports. I got no problem with you opening your place on the res. But I do have a favor to ask in return for the Immortals signing off on this. What do you have in mind? Margaret's gaze meets mine. I ask that you allow girls with Immortals affiliation to apply for positions. It's hard for a woman or a single mother in this town to find a job that earns enough to hold down their households and feed their kids these days. If they want to come to you so they can earn to support their families, and they are of age and willing, I'd like you to consider them. Margaret's a fair woman. Having access to girls associated with the Immortals greatly expands our talent pool. Margaret's offer means that we can fill positions quicker and open faster than we thought. Done, I say. Plus, I'll give you 10% of whatever your girls make. Margaret shakes her head and wags a finger at me. I'll take 15% and ask that you do right by them. Any of my girls step out of line, you come to me first. That's fair, I say. I look to Marco. And you? Marco leans forward with his elbows on the table. I don't give a shit what happens in your territory. Do whatever tickles your dicks. He glares at me. But you ain't taking girls from Los Muertos. A vein in his neck pulses, and there's nothing I'd like more than to reach into my jacket, grab my blade, and slice it the fuck open. But in this situation, I have to remind myself of what Belly would do. That's fair. I stand to leave. I glance between Margaret and Marco. Anything else? Yeah, Marco sneers. I don't want my bitches tainted by Bedlam bullshit. You understand me? Steer clear, or you'll end up with more bullets in your body. Noted, I say, when all I really want to reply with is a knife in his fucking skull. My girls are special to me. They're all off limits to you, but understand, I got one that you don't fuck with. Ever. You don't talk to. You don't look her fucking direction. It's that fucking simple. He threatens with a sneer. I slap the table. Marco, you sly dog. Did you go out and get yourself an old lady? I ask sarcastically. You can threaten me all you want. Your jealousy for someone I've never met is fucking adorable. Chica Blanca, get in here, Marco shouts without taking his eyes off mine. I want you to meet her so you know who to stay clear of. Margaret's eyes grow wide, and she cringes like she knows what's coming. The door slowly creaks open. My legs grow weak, and my blood runs cold as a girl steps into the room with her eyes down to the floor. I immediately feel the need to sit or lie the fuck down, or better yet, shoot bullets into Marco's head one after the other until there's nothing left of it. I want you to meet my future queen, he announces victoriously. Marco's trying to gauge my expression, which I keep wiped from my face, although my insides feel like they're being beaten with a sledgehammer. Why? Because the sad-looking girl who walks through the door sits on Marco's lap and allows Marco to kiss her on the cheek, all the while avoiding eye contact with me, is none other than Emma Jean Parrish. Tricks. My tricks. Chapter 18. Grim. Get a fucking hold of yourself, man. Sandy standing next to me in the garage. As I take weapons from my duffel bag to load them, he's shoving them back in. I'm all for a fucking shootout, but this ain't just about you. You got other people to worry about. The only thing I'm worried about is killing Marco, I grate. Hayes comes into the garage. It's tricks, Sandy begins to tell him, and I think I'm going to be sick before he's even said the words out loud. She's with Marco. Holy fucking shit. How did... Never mind. He shakes his head. What do we got to do? He comes up to the table and eyes the weapons. You gonna kill Marco or Trix? I haven't decided, I say, knowing that's bullshit. I just... Fuck! I roar, throwing a handgun at the wall. Graham, no matter who you kill, it ain't gonna make that feeling go away. Trust me on this one, he says, his words heavy with regret. Hayes and Sandy remain calm. How about we kill later and get fucked up now, Hayes suggests. Might take the edge off. Several hours have passed and I've drank enough whiskey and smoked enough weed to render me stupid. Yet the murderous feeling lingers even through the haze. Trix is one of them. She's with him. When she told me I was the only man she'd ever kissed, it was another fucking lie I fell for. Along with the fucking rest of it. I once told Trix in one of my letters that I don't really get sad. I guess that was a lie, too. What I'm feeling now is deeper than sadness. It's more like rage and despair are hate-fucking in my heart. And Sandy's right. No matter who I kill, it's not going to go away. I'm still not sure I believe him. Distraction isn't working well for me either. I'm on my back on my bed. 2 naked girls are kissing one another over me. I have no idea how they got here. They rub each other's tits and finger each other's pussies, but I don't feel anything that stirs my dick even the slightest. It's probably just all the weed I smoked. Or because the girl who once shattered through my barriers has broken me in a different way, pulverizing a heart I didn't even know I had. The window slides open, and the last person in the world I want to see leaps into the room. She pulls a gun from her backpack and aims it at the two girls on my bed. "Get the fuck out," she demands in a calm, confident tone. If I didn't hate her so much, I'd almost be proud of the way she's handling herself. But I do, so I'm not. I open my mouth to say something, but nothing comes out. It's still hazy. The girls scramble for their clothes and dart out the door. I sit up. Trix approaches the bed, setting the gun in her pocket. "Nice gun," I say sarcastically. "Thanks, I borrowed it. Without asking." "You should go bring it back to whoever you stole it from before I get mine. If I can find where Sandy and Hayes hid them." "Kiss me," she blurts. "Kiss you?" I laugh through my returning rage. The absurdity of her demand rendering me sober. "I just found out not 3 hours ago that you're with Marco, of all fucking people, and now you want me to kiss you?" I pull at my hair. "You're with the fucking enemy. You are the fucking enemy." "Then kill me," she responds with a desperation in her voice that cuts my chest wide open. She grabs her gun and holds it out to me. I stand from the bed and take it from her. I press it to the side of her head. My hand shakes for the first time ever while holding a weapon. "Do it. Shoot me or fuck me. If it's not you who's going to take my body, it's going to be him. I just want it to be you." Her voice grows as shaky as my hand. "It's selfish of me. But it has to be you, Grim. It has to be you." I press the gun harder and grit my teeth. Trix closes her eyes. "I'm biding my fucking time. I've bought 2 bus tickets out of town, one for me and one for Gabby. We'll be gone soon. I don't want to belong to Marco because I already belong to someone else. I always have." I ball my fists and grit my teeth. "Is that something you tell yourself while Marco's fucking you? Or did you come back to make sure you fucked everything in my life up before you disappeared on me again?" She has the audacity to roll her eyes. "Did those girls clog your senses with all that fucking perfume? I told you. No one but you. Marco hasn't fucking touched me, not so much as a kiss. You've got to believe me, Grim. I don't want any of this. I never did. I just want to explain before I go. I never wanted—" "Then what do you want?" I grind, trailing my gun from her head, dragging it down the side of her neck. Her act is good, but I'm not falling for it. Not this time. She lifts her eyes to mine. "You."
Imogene. Grim lifts me in his arms and presses me against the wall. "Please, Grim. I don't even know what I'm begging for. Him. Another life. Just one more kiss. His gun is at my throat."
"You want me to risk my life and the lives of my brothers for some pussy?"
he asks, cupping between my legs. He has a disgusted look marring his beautiful face. I gasp at the sensation of his fingers in my most intimate place and hate it all at the same time. I feel vulnerable and angry and hurt. Not just for me, for Grim. I don't want to risk anyone's life, but I don't know what else to do, I tell him.
"Coming here was the worst thing you could do."
"No, it's not. I know it's not." I shake my head. It can't be.
You lied to me!
He accuses. The anger and hurt in his words sits on my already heavy heart like an anvil. His hand shakes. His finger massages the trigger. I did, but I told you I'm a liar. I didn't want to. You have to believe me. His other hand moves to my throat, his knees spreading my legs.
I don't have to believe shit.
It's a battle of wills. Whoever makes the first move loses. Or wins. However you want to look at it. But hate or not, the connection between us is tangible. A magnet pulling two people together from opposite sides of town. White trash, Romeo and Juliet. I'm not weak, but when it comes to Grim, I lose my edge, my mask. Everything I've built up over the years to protect myself from the outside world. But he needs to see it. He needs to see me. My hunger for him. My fear. All of it.
You're trembling, he remarks. Scared?
Yes, but not why you think. I'm not hiding anything. Not from you. Not tonight. I say.
Fuck!
He roars, smashing his fist through the wall next to my head.
Another fucking lie!
No, you were right when you kissed me by the bay. I do feel it, this thing between us. The way the air shifts when you're near. The way you broke through to me and can see me the way no one ever has. I can't fake that. Grim's anger stabs right through me. His pain is my pain, and it's as real as if he'd sliced me open with a knife. Something shifts. He tilts his head to look me over slowly, deliberately. That makes me feel more vulnerable than I ever have. He has a smug look on his face. The air all around us is hot, humid, but my skin prickles as if I'm in the Arctic. Cold? He asks, taking notice of the hair on my arms standing on end. His pupils are large and dark, his lips hooded. I swallow hard. No. Shit. Great stutter, EJ. Why not just let him hear all your inner thoughts?
And what might those be?
He asks, pressing his chiseled chest against mine, his lips brushing my jaw. Thoughtfully.
I'd really, really like to know.
What? I ask, as though my entire body hasn't just broken out in a shivery, cold sweat.
Your inner thoughts,
he says. His voice is deep, rough, and touches my very core. I gulp. I said that out loud? Grim nods and bites his full bottom lip, then wets it with his tongue. He presses both lips together before flashing me a wicked, knowing smile. The move is so erotic, I almost groan in agony. Or maybe I do. It seems I'm having trouble keeping things to myself.
Well then, Trix, tell me, if you're not cold.
He brushes his lips against my ear. He smells clean, along with a faint hint of cigarettes and whiskey.
What are you?
He rubs his index finger across the prickled skin on my forearm and locks his gaze with mine.
Besides afraid.
Screw it. I've already lost. I concede. I forfeit. I literally have nothing left to lose. I want him to know me. Feel me. One last truth before I'm gone forever. I'm yours, I blurt. Both relief and unbridled lust surge from within me. I'm breathing heavy. My breasts feel full. I'm aching all over with need. For him to touch me. To take me right here against the wall. His nostrils flare.
Damn fucking right you are.
The words are barely out of his mouth when Grim covers my lips with his.
You're a hard one to break, Trix,
he says against my mouth before parting my lips with his tongue and invading my every sense. So are you, Grim. I moan into his mouth when our tongues touch. He tightens his grip on my hair, pressing his warm, hard body against me. His hand snakes into my shorts, while his lips latch onto one of my nipples through my shirt. He rubs my clit through my panties while I buck my hips against him. Please, please, Grim, make me yours. I hate the needy tone of my begging, but I can't help it. I need him inside me. I need him, just this once. Just one more memory to hold on to for the rest of my life. He doesn't give it to me. Instead, he releases his hold on me just as I'm about to come apart in his arms. Like he's stepping away from the flames of a raging fire. His stare is hard and angry once more, making me feel small, helpless. His stance is cold, and so is the air between us now.
But you're not mine. I won't risk my brother's lives for pussy.
He opens the door and tosses my borrowed gun into the grass.
Get the fuck out, Trix.
I hesitate, opening my mouth to say something, but for the first time in my life, nothing comes out.
Now!
He roars, reaching for his own gun on the dresser and aiming it at my chest with a shaking hand. His eyes rimmed in red, the vein underneath his black rose tattoo pulsing in his throat. I dart out the door and into the night with a broken heart, broken dreams, and the horribly timed realization that I'm desperately in love with a man who I'll never see again, and who hates me. And it's all my fault. Chapter 19. Emma Jean. I stop when I see a cat prowling in the grass. Take care of him, I whisper to Fuzzy, who I pass on my way through the yard. The plan is to go find Gabby and get to the bus station ASAP and see if I can change our tickets to now. There is no more waiting for the perfect time, because there will be no perfect time. I've got to go, and I've got to go now, before Marco takes what he thinks is his, before Grim's rage leads to war. My feet haven't even hit the sidewalk yet when a voice stops me in my tracks. Leaving so soon, Emma Jean? I turn to find Marcy leaning up against a post at the front of the house. She looks exactly how I remember from the day I met Grim. She stubs out her cigarette. Yeah, I know who you are. Grim told us he found you. Her stare hardens. And I know what you are. She glances down to my dirty yellow keds. I stiffen. He knows too. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I'm just leaving, I say. I won't be back. You don't have to worry about me being around ever again. Not until we have a little chat first. She waves her hand, and I reluctantly follow her to the porch and take a seat on the step next to her, setting my backpack down at my feet. You plan on using that thing? She asks, looking at the gun in my half-zipped backpack. I zip it back up. I offered it to Grim. Gave him a chance to kill me if he wanted to. I was wondering why 2 sets of D-cups ran screaming through the yard earlier. That you too? Possibly. Marcy sighs. Things aren't always what they seem. I know that. If you want a chance to unburden your soul, now is the time. I'm listening. I can't. Grim, he hates me. She nods like she understands. When Belly and I first met, I felt something binding us together. Right then, on that day. Took me a while to realize it was love. And when we were angry with each other, it's like that connection made the anger so much worse. So much more hurtful. It's like I can feel his pain along with my own, I admit. I just got to get out of here. Distance doesn't crumble that kind of bond, baby. Trust me, I tried running from Belly quite a few times before I realized that. And can you blame him for being angry? No, I can't. I ain't gonna judge you, kid. No one in this town is in any place to do that. But you gotta give me something here. Free yourself whatever burden is crushing you. I know the outline of the story, but fill in the pieces. I'm here. I ain't going anywhere. And again, No judgments. I promise. Grim saw something in you that made him ask me to take you in. And that boy never asked for anything, especially back then. Make me understand why you're messed up in all of this Marco mess. Why are you doing this? I ask with a raspy voice. She rests her hand over mine. Because someone did it for me once. And sharing secrets I never wanted to repeat to myself out loud gave me a new perspective. I'd like to do the same for you. Something about her kind eyes, and about the way she says those words, like a mother would to a child who's done something wrong, makes the need to purge myself rise out of me like a volcano about to erupt the truth. I take a deep, shaky breath and squeeze Marcy's hand. I tell her everything.
Chapter 20. Grim. Trix is wearing a white, crop-top tank, exposing a strip of skin under her pert, braless tits. Her skirt is red and reminds me of a Catholic school uniform. High-waisted and so short it barely covers her tight, round ass. Her hair is blonde again, wild and curly, cascading over her shoulders, brushing her hard nipples. Her lips are glossy pink. Fuck me. The possessive feelings I've always had for her explode inside my gut like a grenade. The shrapnel hits my heart, and suddenly, I can't fucking breathe. She disappears. I look around for her, but she's not there. I go back inside, wondering if I imagined her. In the safety of my bathroom, I exhale and try to calm my rapid breathing. I rest both hands on the sink, shaking my head. I splash some cold water on my face and stare at my reflection as the water drips down from my jaw into the sink. You're losing it, Grim. You are so very, very fucked, I tell myself. Oh yeah? What'd you do now? Asks a familiar voice. I step to the side, and Trix's reflection appears in the mirror. She's behind me, pushing her white sunglasses up to her head to reveal her blue-green eyes and the small dents on each side of her nose where they'd been pressing into her skin. Nothing. Yet, I grumble, snagging a towel from the rack and drying my face. Anything I can help with? She saunters over. Although her frame is microscopic compared to mine, she's suddenly taking up every inch of available space in the bathroom. No, I say. It comes out rougher than I intended. I don't need your help. I don't need anything from you. She doesn't scowl, doesn't react in any way. That's where you're wrong. Let me fix this. Let me fix you, she offers. Standing up on her tiptoes, she presses her chin against my shoulder and looks at my reflection in the mirror. Let me help you feel better. She reaches around, placing her palm flat on my chest, slowly trailing it down my abs. I meet her gaze in the mirror. That's what I'm afraid of. I've been waiting for you. Always for you, she says, darting out her pink tongue and wetting her even pinker lips. She's the perfect mix of innocence and defiance, and I can't turn around to face her, not yet. I'm afraid. Afraid. Me. Afraid. The thought causes me physical pain from my chest all the way down to my throbbing cock. I've been waiting for you, too. I wake up from my dream covered in sweat. I reach for the whiskey on the table only to realize it's empty. I head into the main house and tear open the liquor cabinet in the living room. "Something troubling you?" Marcy asks. "Nothing that drowning myself in liquor won't fix." "I seriously doubt that," Marcy says. "This about Imogene?" I freeze at the sound of her name. Marcy sits on the couch and pats the sofa. "I know everything, Grim. More than you." "You don't know everything," I mutter. Turning back to the liquor cabinet, I locate a full bottle in the back and twist off the cap. I chug from the bottle, not bothering with the glass. "And here I thought that Trix being with Marco and Los Muertos was something." I spit the liquor in a spray all over the floor. I told Sandy and Hayes, but not Marcy or Belly. "You're cleaning that up," she remarks. "Now, I think it's time for you and I to have a little talk." There's no point. I didn't find out until this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon, at the sit-down at Marco's. Then she came here. I sent her away. You don't have to worry about her being around. I wipe my mouth and take another swallow from the bottle. "You sent her away?" "How?" Marcy narrows her eyes. "The only way I know." Guilt, regret, and anger boil up inside me. I can't break the truce over a piece of ass. Marcy looks at me, and for the very first time she looks disappointed. It burns in my gut along with the whiskey. "Sit the fuck down, son, and listen to Marcy," Belly says. "I take it you know too?" I say. He nods. "I know what she knows. We're a team, a unit. We don't have secrets between us," Belly explains. "You should know that, and learn from that." "I'm not the one keeping secrets," I tell him, my words a double-edged sword. "Sit," Belly says. "It's not a fucking request." I sit down on the couch with my bottle and light a cigarette, rubbing my temples with my hand, holding my smoke. Marcy lights a joint and passes it to Belly. "Imogene Parrish is being held against her will by Marco and Los Muertos." Belly perches on the side of the couch and takes the joint from her hands. I shrug. "She said she didn't want to be there, but she should have thought of that before she joined up with those motherfuckers in the first place. You don't get to have regrets after you join. She had to know what she was getting into. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met," I say in disbelief. "She is. But you're not," Belly says. "She never joined up. She was taken against her will and forced to earn from Marco. She's there under the threat of death or being whored out along with Gabriella, Marco's own sister. The only way she's been able to escape those things until now was to earn." "For how long?" I ask. My throat dries, and I'm finding it hard to swallow. I assumed she joined up after she went to the new foster home she told me about. But dread washes over me as the realization that I was wrong takes hold. How long has she fucking been there? Marcy sighs. "Since she was 12. Since she disappeared from foster care." Oh, fuck. I bend over and set the bottle on the table. I feel fucking sick. I feel murderous. She tried to tell me. I didn't fucking listen. "Like you said, the girl is smart," Marcy says, taking a long drag off her joint. "And those smarts have bought her time. She's managed to keep Marco's paws off her for 5 years and to keep her and Gabby safe. That's a lot of burden to bear for a kid. But she's almost 18 now. And Marco's governed her by family rules," Belly adds. I know where he's going with this because I know Marco's fucked up laws. Girls of age are fair game for all members of Los Muertos. Unless he wants her for himself, which he's shown he does. I'm going to be sick, I say, and it's not because of the whiskey. As you should, Belly says, adding insult to the most painful injury I've ever experienced. And I've been fucking shot. Twice. I swallow hard and ball my fists as I speak her reality out loud. Her time's run out.
Chapter 21. Imogene. The first thing I do when I get back to the compound is tell Gabby about the bus tickets and Grim. "Oh shit," she says. "Let's go. Let's do it." She starts packing our backpacks and hides them in the air vents. "I'm going to make a run for supplies. I'll meet you back here in an hour." While she's gone, I rinse the color from my hair and let it dry naturally. My need to be truthful to myself outweighing the need to blend in or to match the ID I'm about to use perfectly. My bouncy blonde curls spring back to life. "There you are," I say, reaching out to touch the mirror. I open my notebook to retrieve the bus tickets. They aren't stuffed between the pages where I left them. I check again. They're still not there. The last time I saw them was at the park. I dropped the notebook when Memo threatened me. I managed to shove it back into my bag before the bullets rang out and Grim carried me off, but... Memo. Leo bursts through the door with a wild look on her face. "Marco wants you to come down to the courtyard. He has a surprise for you." She can't even look me in the eye. Marco has a surprise for me. Dread immediately fills my entire being. I want to run and hide, but there's no hiding when it comes to Marco. I nod, and she leads me out into the courtyard where Marco is waiting, surrounded by angry, tattooed girls and women I recognize as other members of Los Muertos.
"I like the new look,"
Marco says.
"Miss that crazy hair of yours."
"What's all this?" I ask, but I already know. I've seen it before from my window.
"This is where you prove your fucking loyalty, like you should have done years ago,"
Marco says, roughly grabbing my arm. "Why?" I ask. "I've been loyal. Marco shuts me up by holding up a pair of bus tickets. My bus tickets. Shit. Memo chuckles from behind Marco and blows me a kiss.
"I was going to make you my queen, and this is how you repay me?"
Marco asks loudly for all to hear, his chest rising and falling with his anger.
"But don't worry, you'll still get a chance to be my queen, if you survive your initiation."
He lowers his voice. Pulling me close, he whispers in my ear.
"You were in the palace, bitch. Welcome to Gen Pop."
He shoves me into the circle. I stumble and hunch my shoulders, trying to make myself as invisible as possible. But it's no use. The first girl comes at me, and I manage to block a few of her blows and deliver a few of my own. Marco is cheering with his soldiers from the sidelines, their laughter piercing through the circle like an arrow. I can fight them off one by one without a problem. I'm strong, athletic, and I've been in a scrap or two. But there's no way I can win when the group crowds me in on all sides. I raise my arms to cover my face as they begin brutally beating me. One blow after another until a faint whistle enters my blood-filled ears. The crowd parts, and Marco picks me up by what's left of my shirt.
"Go get the next one,"
he barks to someone. "No, not Gappy. No," I rasp as blood trickles from my lip.
"Aw, that's so sweet that you're worried about her, Chica Blanca. But nah, she gets special exception because she's blood. Family. You got special exception too. Then you went and fucked it all up by lying to me. Time to show me some loyalty, bitch. Now, let's see how you handle your walk of shame."
I would have laughed if I was capable, or if I didn't fear Marco's retaliation. I'm dizzier than I've ever been as I'm placed in the open bed of a truck. Marco barks orders in Spanish to whoever is driving to take me to the devil's den. Then we're off. Every bump in the road is another punch to my rib cage as I collide with the ribbed metal of the truck bed. When we finally stop, it's like I've been beaten all over again. I'm unceremoniously lifted and dumped out onto a concrete sidewalk by a man I recognize as Gil.
If you survive the night and find your way back to the compound by morning, Marco won't kill you. If you die out here, well, then you die.
Gil laughs, amused by his own sick joke.
Oh, and I almost forgot. Marco wants me to remind you that if you so much as think of running, Gabby will go through the same initiation with 3 times as many against her. And if they don't kill her, he will.
He reaches into his back pocket and takes out a can of spray paint. But it's not the walls he tags. It's me. I cough through the fumes as he covers me in yellow paint, spraying me from head to toe. The truck takes off, and I'm left lying on the side of some building. I hear the faint sounds of a buzzing streetlight. I look up and see nothing but darkness. Either the streetlight isn't working, or I'm high from the paint fumes. Or both. Marco is a sociopath. A thug to his very core, and not in the cool political way Tupac defined the word. Because I'm delirious, I hear the faint sounds of Tupac's Gangsta Party playing in the distance, or in my head. I hum along until the landscape around me grows from fuzzy to only sort of fuzzy, and I try to figure out where the hell I am. I prop myself up slowly, feeling the pain of my beating all over again as I try and do so. I look down and realize beside the paint, I'm almost naked. My shirt is torn to shreds, and since I'm not wearing a bra, I'm fully exposed. There isn't even enough fabric left to arrange any sort of cover. I spot graffiti on the wall above me, along with a winged symbol for the immortal kings. Shit. I begin to panic. I officially understand what Marco meant when he said, if I survive the night, and he wasn't referring to my wounds. I'm vulnerable out here. The immortals, along with everyone else in this town, know that someone left battered on their doorstep, covered in yellow, is fair game in their twisted gang rules. They can do whatever they want to me, truce or no truce. The only thing they can't do is help. I use the wall at my back as leverage to stand. A shooting pain up my spine tells me it's a horrible idea. I fall back on my ass, sending another stabbing pain down the back of my legs. Come on, EJ, get your ass up, I mutter angrily to myself. Another voice speaks to me, this one in my head, but it's as real as if he's whispering in my ear. The voice is Grimm's.
You're stronger than this. You're stronger than him. He thinks he's manipulative and cunning, but you're better. Marco has no idea who he's fucking with. Now is your time to show him. Get up, Trix. Come to me.
With his imaginary words fueling me, I managed to pull myself up to a somewhat upright position. I would jump and rejoice if I didn't think I might break a vertebra in the process. Thank you, I say to the voice in my head.
Who are you talking to, little lady?
A voice asks. I look over to find Damon, the leader of the Immortals, looking me up and down with an amused expression on his face. None of your fucking business, I growl, glaring a laser-like warning at him so hard I'm surprised and disappointed I don't decimate him where he stands.
Oh, she's got bite,
he says, rubbing his hands together.
But you see, it is my business. You're in Immortal's territory. My territory, which means you, yellow girl, are very much my business. What's going on?
Another male voice asks. A man stands next to Damon. Taking notice of me, his eyes widen with interest. Damon bends over with his hands on his knees to meet my eyes.
It seems Marco has left us a gift,
he muses, scratching at his beard.
Although, this one is scrawnier than most of the others. Not where it counts,
the other man chuckles. I glance up and he's staring at my breasts. My adrenaline kicks in, and I mentally count to 3. 1, 2. I can't even wait until 3. I'm bolting down the street barefooted with my breasts exposed while the 2 men give chase. I'm not fast, but I don't think they're trying too hard either. 6th Street. I'm on 6th Street. One more street and I'll be in Bedlam territory. Grim. Get to Grim. If he wants to kill me, so be it. I'd rather be killed by Grim than by these fuckers. My hair is tugged from behind, and I fall back onto the concrete with a force that knocks the wind from my lungs and sends a sharp bolt of pain through my spine. "What in the hell do you two think you're doing?" shouts a female voice.
"None of your business,"
Damon shouts. "Oh, no, you did not just say that to me. Boy, I'll cut out your goddamn tongue. Have some fucking respect for your mama for once. If not for me or her, then at least for yourself."
"Ma,"
he whines, as if she's just taken away a toy and sent him to time out. "Go on, get! That skank Jocelyn is at your house. I ain't dealing with her shit tonight, so go and set that right before I light her on fire and throw you on top for kindling."
"Fuck, not Jocelyn again,"
Damon mutters.
"Thought she was in rehab,"
the other man asks.
"Must have escaped again,"
he replies. Their footsteps and voices fade as they retreat. The woman leans over me, and I recognize her instantly as Margaret, the lady from the park, from the sit-down with Marco and Grim. She's never been kind or unkind to me. Mostly, we just steer clear of one another and exchange polite smiles. "Listen, Imogene, I want to help you. I really do. But I can't interfere in the business of Los Muertos. I can tell from that ass-whooping that it wasn't no cat fight between girlfriends, so I tell you what. I can't touch you, but I'll walk behind you in the shadows until you cross 7th to make sure you make it there. Beyond my territory, it's all up to you. You think you can walk?" I nod and hiss when I bring myself to a standing position without Margaret's help. "I really do want to help, you know, but I can't be starting a war and losing my boys over this. You get that?" "I know," I rasp, each lungful of air more painful than the next. "I get it. You can kill me, but you can't help me." "It's fucked up, I know," she says with a sigh. "It's like a real-life, more fucked-up version of the Hunger Games," I groan. "Ain't that the fucking truth?" she chuckles. "If this was any other town and any other situation, I'd get my fucking gun and teach that piece of shit Marco a lesson on how to treat a woman. It's hard being a feminist in lacking. This wouldn't happen where I'm from in England. The whole fucking town would be at the Los Muertos gate with pitchforks." "Too bad we're not in England," I offer. Margaret takes out her phone and taps a few keys before shoving it back inside her pocket. I take a few shuffling steps forward. Margaret stays true to her word. "Move on, boys. Ain't nothing to see here," she shouts from the shadows as 2 men pass by, pointing in my direction. They quickly move to the other side of the street. "Something tells me that there's more to you than the lady who serves lunch to the homeless in the park on Sundays," I say, shuffling forward at a pace that would lose a snail race. I'm getting dizzier by the second, but I concentrate on moving forward toward the obstacle in the gangster gauntlet. Margaret laughs. "I'm a woman, baby. There's more to us than any man will ever begin to understand." The moment I cross 7th Street, I know Margaret is gone. I've got to make it back to Los Muertos to save Gabby. It's more than 3 miles. But I can make it. I look up to the sky. The stars begin to swirl around and around. I quickly realize I'm wrong. I'm not going to make it. I know this because I'm now looking at those same swirling stars on my back. I hear footsteps and voices, but I'm tired. A warm blanket of oblivion is being pulled over me, and I relax into it. Oh, so fucking tired. Of Marco. Of this town. Of this life.
Chapter 22. Grim. I'm in my truck the second I get the text from Margaret. I don't know how she knows or why, but I don't give a fuck right now. I'm almost to the edge of Bedlam territory when I spot something that doesn't look right and certainly doesn't feel right. 3 grown-ass men are looming over something on the sidewalk. One lifts a paper bag to his mouth to take a swig of whatever's inside. I slow my truck and open the window. "She's pretty. Or at least, she was until whoever gave her that beating got hold of her," one of the men says. "You know the rules. She's yellow. Bitch is fair game," another chimes in. "You want to go first?" "Marco sure fucked up with this one. You'd think he'd want to keep her all for himself instead of turning Blondie here over to the streets." "His loss is our gain," a man chuckles. I raise my hood and turn the truck with a loud squeal as fury seeps from within, flooding my pores. I see red rage, and these fuckers are going to pay. I drive directly onto the sidewalk and slam into the men as I skid to a stop. They bounce off my hood and fly into the street. The one I didn't manage to hit stares at me, shaking. His pants grow dark as he urinates himself. You're... Go, before you find out who I really am firsthand. He doesn't need to be told twice. He scatters into an alley. I already know who's laying on the sidewalk. But to actually see it is 1,000 times worse. My gut twists. My rage turns to despair. Tricks. I'm breaking every law of the truce by picking her up and placing her in the cab of my truck, but I don't give a fuck. My Trix could be dying, and there isn't a bone inside my brutal body that's going to let that happen. Once I have her in the passenger seat, I hop in and speed down the road. "Are you okay? Can you hear me?" I ask, placing a hand on her leg and shaking it. "Trix, talk to me." "I'm not okay," she rasps with a sputtering cough. "I'm never okay." My chest tightens. "I'm taking you somewhere safe," I tell her, pressing my foot to the gas. "There is nowhere safe," she groans. Then she says something that rattles me down to my bones. "He found the bus tickets. There's nowhere and no one who's safe. Not even Grim. But take me to him anyway. Please. Just take me to Grim." She slumps over. Her head lands heavily onto my lap. Then, nothing.
Chapter 23. Emma Jean. I open my eyes, and everything hurts. As I wake, the pain grows from sharp to dull. I'm also naked, and in the most comfortable bed I've ever been in. I look around and realize I've been in it before. Grim's bed. How did I get here? I try to recall the events that led me to being here, but the last thing I remember is swirling stars. Gabby. Shit, I have to get to Gabby. I glance at the clock on the nightstand. It's 4 a.m. I still have 3 hours. I exhale and wince at the pain. I sit up, and although I'm in pain, I decide to ignore it because the pain in my head isn't shit when it comes to the pain I'll feel if I don't get to Gabby in time. I hear voices on the other side of the door, so I stand, wrapping the sheet around my body as I shuffle toward them. She'll be fine. She's bruised and scraped up pretty bad. But it's not life-threatening. She's got herself a few cracked ribs, a minor concussion. It could be a lot worse. She's a tough one, though, I hear Marcy say. When she's up, we all need to talk.
She's not going back there,
Grim grinds. Belly coughs before collecting himself.
We already know Marco's the one jacking our trucks. He's probably the one responsible for the rain of bullets in the park, too. He's looking for a reason to start a war. The truce has only got a month left on it. I doubt he'll be making an offer to extend it if he comes up with one. She's not going back there,
Grim says again.
And that's final.
Belly pauses.
I understand, son, and I'm going to leave this one in your hands. I expect you to make the right decision, for all involved.
I open the door. I'm going back, I say. The 3 of them look to me.
Tricks,
Grim says with a shake of his head. No, Marco said that if I didn't get back to him by this morning, or my dead body didn't show up on his doorstep, he'd do the same thing to Gabby that he did to me. Only he'd make sure she didn't survive. I can't do that to her. I'm going back.
We can figure out a way,
Grim begins. No, there is no other way. I'll come back with Gabby when it's safe, I say with as much determination as my scratchy voice can muster.
I knew you were a good one from the second I laid eyes on you,
Belly says, pulling me in for a gentle, yet firm hug. I've never been hugged like this in my life, and I find myself overwhelmed by it. I bury myself into the comfort of his big body.
Don't do this because you think anything will happen to you by our hands if you don't. Your family. Always have been. We tried to bring you home years ago. It's about damn time you finally got here. You got a place here, regardless of what you decide.
I look to Grim, whose jaw is in a hard line. Do I ask. His answer is a simple nod.
Grim. I can't be the reason people die, Trix says. I stare down at her beautiful, battered face. You won't. Marco is going to find a way to start a war regardless of whether you go back or not. But I can't be the reason, Grim, she explains. I just can't. I have to get Gabby out. I can't leave her there. I won't. I pull her into the room and sit her down on the bed. We're both silent for a moment. The space fills with tension and unspoken words. I fucked up. Marcy told me everything, I finally say. She holds up her hand. Let's not do this, not yet. Not now. You don't owe me anything. I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to help take down Marco. When I'm free of him and Los Muertos, then we can talk. Regardless, I'll come back. I promise. Belly was right. You don't have to do this, I say, holding her hands in mine. I know. But for the first time in my life, I want to. The sincerity in her voice strikes me like a fist to the heart. It's the only way to see my way clear of all this bullshit and keep Gabby alive. Trix winces as she begins to unwrap the bandages from around her ribs. What are you doing? I ask. Showing up to the compound all patched up is going to raise a lot of questions I'm not going to want to answer. She's right. Fuck, I hate this. But she's right. I help her unwrap the rest, revealing the purple bruises along her torso, which match the cuts and bruises around both of her swollen eyes. Marcy comes in, holding an oversized t-shirt with a ridiculous image of cats climbing a rope. "Wear this. You can say you picked it off a clothesline." "Thank you," Trix says. She reaches for the shirt. I grab it first, gently tugging it over her head. "Sandy will take you in the van and drop you as close as he can to the compound without being noticed. The rest is up to you," Marcy says. Trix nods. The corner of her lip is caked with dried blood. I look at Marcy. "She'll need something else," I say. "What?" Trix asks. "He did this because he wants your loyalty, right?" Trix nods, but confusion lines her face. "Yeah? Since I won't give it to him, he thought he'd beat it out of me." I growl. "Marcy, Belly, we need to give her something to bring back. Something important she can show him to let him think his loyalty test actually worked." Belly stands behind Marcy. He nods in understanding, then takes off his bedlam ring and tosses it to me. "That should work. I take it off when I work on my bike. I set it on the shelf closest to the door. You can say you swiped it to prove yourself." I hold out the ring to Trix. "Marco wants loyalty, and this is how you're going to give it to him." Trix takes it from my hands. "Thank you," she says, her eyes welling up with tears. I push a stray hair from her face and look deeply into her eyes. I need her to see how serious I am. Stay out of Marco's way as much as possible. If he so much as touches you, I'm coming for you. "We all will," Belly chimes in. "And then what?" she asks. "We'll kill everyone who stands in our way to get to you, and I'll tear Marco apart limb from motherfucking limb." I hold her face gently in my hands. "Just make it back to me, Trix." "I will. I promise I will." I know without a doubt that she thinks she's telling the truth. But dread still fills my entire body because promising something you can't know for sure is still a lie.
Chapter 24. Emma Jean. Sandy drops me off in an alley a few blocks from the compound. Wearing my cat shirt with Belly's ring tucked in my pocket, I walk through the gates.
"Hey, the bitch is alive! Look at that!"
Gil, who's standing guard out front, whistles.
"Marco isn't here, but I'll make sure to tell him you made it."
Fuck off, I spit. I shuffle to the apartment. It takes more than 20 minutes to make it up the 3 flights of stairs. Gabby opens the door as I reach the top. "Holy shit, you're alive," she says, hugging me too tightly. I groan. "I'm so sorry. Leo told me what happened. I was imagining the worst. The very worst." Tears pour from her eyes as she helps me inside. "Shower," I groan. She helps me to the bedroom, and I sit down on the bed. I grab my backpack and tuck Belly's ring deep inside, while Gabby runs to the bathroom to start the shower. I want to tell her everything, but I don't. Not just because I don't have the energy, but because the less she knows, the better. I take a nap next to Gabby, and when I wake up, it's dark out. I pop a few Advil for the soreness and the pain, because I have more to worry about right now than my aching body. I dress silently so I won't wake Gabby. Then I grab my backpack. I sneak out the door, shutting it slowly so it barely makes a click. Then I head straight for Marco's building. Marco's lights are out. Hopefully he's out for the night and won't be back anytime soon. I had an idea on the way over here. If I can find proof that Marco's the one responsible for the trucks or the park shooting, then the Immortals will be on Bedlam's side to take Marco out. And I can go back to Bedlam with Gabby the second it's safe. The sooner I find something, the sooner I can do just that. There is only one soldier out front when I approach. I recognize him as the guy they call Fright. I have something for Marco. I just want to go up and put it in his office. I lift my backpack from my shoulder to indicate that the something is inside.
Ain't no one allowed up,
He says, staring over me, scanning the area. It's me, Fright, not some hoe looking to wreck his shit because he never called. I made it back, didn't I? Trust me. He'll be super pissed if I don't leave this for him.
I said I'm not allowed to.
Fine. I reposition my bag on my shoulder and point at his chest and raise my voice. But when Marco asks me why it's not in his office, I'll have to tell him it was because you wouldn't let me put it there. He rolls his eyes and sighs, repositioning his gun in his left arm.
Fine. Just be quick. In and out. Leave your shit on his table and don't touch anything.
Yes, sir, I say in a low masculine voice, clicking my heels together and giving him a sarcastic salute. I chuckle as I walk past him. At some point, Fright will tell Marco I was there. I don't need to give either of them any indication that something is off, or any reason to suspect me of anything, other than being persistent, to the point of annoying. I open Marco's office door and feel the wall for the light. I don't know what I'm even looking for. A file? An email? A fucking sticky note? I'll probably know it when I see it. I finally find the light and click it on. No sooner is the room bathed in light than I'm slammed up against the wall. Marco. My wrists are pinned above my head.
You made it back,
He states. The familiar blue vein throbs in his forehead. His eyes are bloodshot, and I can smell the liquor on his breath as it lands hot against my face. He spreads my legs with his knee, further pinning me in place. Here I thought you'd be happy about it, I say. There's no need for the mask I use when I lie, because it's the truth. You sound disappointed. He releases one arm just long enough to smack me across the face. The stinging hurts, but it also helps put my mask firmly in place. The one he can't penetrate. The one I'm damned good at wearing.
Just the opposite,
He says.
I'm surprised.
I've learned my lesson. I won't try anything again. I wanted to come back to show you that, I say, eyes downcast. I want to prove that I can be loyal.
Oh yeah? And how do you plan on doing that?
Marco asks.
By sneaking into my office?
He grabs my face in his hands and squeezes my jaw. I wasn't sneaking. I went straight through the front door, past the guard. Ask him, I cry out. His hold on me tightens. I have something for you. He leans closer until his lips move against my jaw.
Oh yeah? And what the fuck is that?
In my backpack, I say. He releases me and grabs the backpack at my feet. He unzips it and pulls out the ring. He holds it up to inspect it in the light.
Bellies,
he says with an amused grin. You told me to be valuable to you. You told me that our family comes first, I say. Our family tastes bitter in my mouth. But the words are enough to make Marco lean back so he can look me in my lying eyes. I saw Belly's bike parked outside of a house on my way back. He was working on it. He took off his ring and went inside. I snagged it before he came back out. I walked all the way through Bedlam territory, holding on to their leader's ring. for you. Marco takes a few deep breaths and grabs my face in both hands. Gentler this time.
I knew you'd come around,
he says, planting a long, lingering kiss on my lips. It takes everything I have not to knee him in the balls. Instead, I stay as still as possible. I make a decision while his thin lips are on mine. If Marco so much as hurts me again, Grim won't have to come here with an army. I'll kill Marco myself. When he finally pulls away, I speak again, mostly so he won't kiss me. There's more. They were talking in the garage. Whoever they were, they're planning something else. Something big, I say. Not sure what it is, because I only heard the words something big, followed by Los Muertos, but I thought you should know.
Those pieces of shit!
Marco roars, taking the bait. The number one rule of magic is distraction. Give them something to focus on while you're doing something else. What's a better distraction while I'm trying to find proof of his broken truce promises than sending him on a wild goose chase? Marco punches a filing cabinet, leaving a crater-sized dent on the side. Marco is easy to play, but he's also easy to set off. Walking on eggshells is more like tiptoeing on shards of glass when it comes to choosing my words around him. I'd have to be smart about this, plan my moves wisely. Marco steps back, and I feel like I can finally breathe with some space between us. He's deep in thought, with his chin resting in his hand, silently moving his lips and shaking his head. He's also smiling in a way that sends chills down my entire body. I mean, I'm sorry if I upset you, I say. If this information isn't useful to you...
It is, and I want more. You'll find it out for me. You'll find out how they plan on taking down my shipment. Every fucking detail.
Okay, I agree, feeling downright victorious. The feeling doesn't last long. But how?
However you need to. You're crafty. Come up with something.
His eyes narrow.
But if I find out you're playing me somehow, EJ, I'll kill you myself. But not before I make you watch as I burn down that house of Bedlam with that entire fucking crew and Gabby inside.
He's trying to get me to crack, but it's not gonna happen. I shift into annoying little sister mode. Don't be so dramatic, Marco. After I get you what you want, you can do whatever the hell you want to them. But leave Gabby and me out of it. I'm not much for burnt corpses and screaming. You might want to take Memo with you on that one. I make a disgusted face just as Memo walks in the door. I hear he's into that kind of thing.
I'm glad you're here,
Marco says to Memo.
We have a situation that was just brought to my attention. Got some news of my own, boss,
Memo says. Memo nods. Then, Marco turns to me one last time.
If you don't get me what I need...
Guts on the street signs, gangbangs, watch Bedlam burn. You got it, boss. I'll get it, I say, giving him a thumbs up and an eye roll. I turn around and head out the door. Memo's words stop me.
Well, you won't be watching all of them burn. One's already dead,
Memo says.
The old man had a heart attack a couple of hours ago. My man at the hospital says the old fuck was DOA.
He laughs, and my heart lurches into my stomach. Belly. Marco grins.
I know how you can get me the info, EJ. You see, it's a custom for the leaders in Lacking to attend the funeral of their fallen enemies. But you know me, I've never been one for customs. You're to go in my place, and you won't be hiding who you are. You'll be representing me. Find out all you can while you're there. Funerals have a way of loosening lips.
Marco doesn't just want for me to find out information. He wants to insult Bedlam by not showing his face and sending me in his place. I nod and keep the smile on my face while I'm screaming on the inside. I know that if I open my mouth, that scream is going to come up, along with everything else I've ever eaten.
Dismissed,
Marco says, turning to Memo. I leave them and head down the stairs. I take out my phone and call Gabby as I leave. She answers on the first ring. The number one rule of faking a phone call is to actually make a call. If your screen isn't lit up, or if it rings in the middle of your fake conversation, you're done. I swallow down the anxiety rising in my throat. Hello, EJ? Gabby asks over and over again on the other end. I pretend she can hear me as I walk past Fright. OMG, Gabby, your brother needs to lighten up, or those frown lines are not going to get any better. I look down at my nails. You want to watch the new Ryan Reynolds flick on Netflix tonight? Leo says we can use her laptop and hack into the tower for Wi-Fi again. I hear him and his wife are on the outs, which naturally gives at least one of us a shot. I even go so far as to pretend to be chewing gum. I take the time to stop and tie my shoe, so I don't seem like I'm in a hurry to get away. Ignoring the instinct to run is tearing me apart. I'm burning up from the inside out. If you want to watch the Lady Gaga documentary again, can we do it after Ryan Reynolds? Last time you fell asleep, and I couldn't sing along to any of the songs because I didn't want to wake you. EJ, is everything okay? What the fuck is going on? Where did you go? Gabby asks, sounding as panicked as I feel. I stand back up, ignoring the aching pains in my body, and give Fright a wink. I head in the direction of the apartment I share with Gabby. I twirl my hair in my fingers. I adjust my backpack from one shoulder to the other. Even though he's 3 floors up and a building away now, I can hear Marco screaming orders at Memo and throwing things across his office in a rage. I'm heading your way now, I say to Gabby cheerfully. I'll stay on the line in case you need me, Gabby says, catching on. I laugh hysterically at something Gabby didn't say while I cross the tall grass in the field. While I'm hurting for Grim. While I'm dying inside. While I'm holding back tears. While Belly is dead. Chapter 25. Emma Jean. The funeral is 3 days after I learn the news. I arrive through the back door. The house is lit up for a party with loud music and boisterous voices. Not anything like I expected. I'm wearing a skin-tight strapless black dress I borrowed from Leo, with my denim jacket over the top and Gabby's black flats. I move through the crowd of leather-wearing bikers. Marcy greets me but keeps her distance. Thank you for coming. Marco sent word he was sending someone in his place. I assume that's you? Yeah, that's me, I say, keeping up the charade of not knowing her. Funerals are neutral, sweetie. You don't have to worry about anyone here. Make yourself at home. Grab a drink. Her eyes look sad, but she perks up when a burly biker comes and wraps her in a hug.
I'm so sorry, Marcy,
the man says. She looks at me over his shoulder, and I mouth those same words to her. I also slip Belly's bedlam ring into her pocket as I pass her by. Marco thinks he lost it when he trashed his office. The truth is, I never left it in his office to begin with. It came in when I did and left when I did. The man releases Marcy, who nods and waves the tears away from her face. She whispers, "It will all be okay, sweetie. I promise. I believe in you. In Grim. In us. He loves you. just in case the fucker can't tell you himself. You need to know that. We love you too. So did Belly. Check your pocket, I whisper. My tears are threatening to spill, and so are hers. More so when she pats her pocket and instantly knows what's there. We both turn in opposite directions. I take a few deep breaths to steady myself and remember that I'm there on Marco's behalf. I turn my face hard and pretend that I'm indifferent to all the goings-on around me. I spot Margaret, who's standing with Damon on the other side of the crowd. She acknowledges me with a nod and quickly looks away. The music suddenly shuts off, and all attention turns to the front of the living room, where Sandy is standing in front of the fireplace with tears streaming down his face and a bottle of whiskey in his hands.
I'm gonna say a few words about...
Between his hiccups and tears, his words are inaudible at best. When people gather around to hear what Sandy has to say, I stay in the back of the crowd by the kitchen window.
I just want to say that
Sandy breaks out in sobs until Grim appears. He's wearing a tight black t-shirt. His eyes have dark circles under them. He wraps his arm around Sandy and pulls him to his side, whispering something in his ear. Sandy joins Marcy on the couch. She places her arm around him. Grim clears his throat like he's going to say something, and I'm taken aback. Is the boy who never spoke until he was 16 about to say something to the crowd? Pride and love and longing is all I feel as I stare up at Grim. He scans the crowd like he's searching for someone, but looks to the beer in his hand when he doesn't find it. He straightens and stares at everyone with a confidence that makes me shiver.
I'm not one for public words. Y'all know that. But this was one of Belly's last requests, that one of his sons say a few things. I think he meant Sandy, but that didn't exactly go as planned.
The crowd chuckles.
If he meant me, then I think it was just to fuck with me from wherever the fuck retired bikers go to when they meet their end. But I'm gonna give it a shot, because Belly knew that I don't ever step down from a challenge. And I'm not about to now. Not while he might be watching.
Grim clears his throat. Then he looks up to the ceiling with a small smile that warms my heart.
Fuck you, Pops.
The crowd laughs. Grim clears his throat again and looks to the floor. Then his eyes land on mine. Something sizzles in the air between us for a split second before he tears his eyes from mine. After what seems like a million years, he speaks again.
I never knew my real old man. I don't think my mom knew him all that well either. But for the last several years, I had Belly. He was my pops. A man who stepped up when no one else did. Someone who saw something in me as positive, as an asset, when everyone else turned away screaming and ran in the other direction. He didn't tell me no. He told me, how can we use this so you can live your life as you? So you can thrive instead of suffocate. That meant a lot to me. He also kept me fed and kept a roof over my head when no one was forcing him to. You see, when I first came here, I thought Marcy and Belly were getting money to take in foster kids, like most do. But then I found an open piece of mail one day, and it was a waiver of payment for guardian care. They requested that they not be paid, when they had every right to be. They didn't get shit because they didn't want shit. They just wanted us. Me, Sandy, Hayes, Digger, may he rest in peace. They wanted us just as we were. Fucked up and deranged and unpredictable. Belly said I reminded him a lot of a younger version of himself. If it weren't for him, I'd be in a supermax prison somewhere. awaiting my turn in the chair. Yeah, Belly was a brutal son of a bitch. He was a hard-ass, too. But that hard-ass had a heart bigger than I knew someone could have. He showed me kindness when I didn't deserve it.
Grim pauses and looks up at me.
Above all else, he showed me what's important in this short life.
He looks to Marcy and Sandy.
Family, loyalty, and protecting those two things like they're an extension of your own body. Because they are.
Grim winks at Sandy and Hayes, who are sitting next to Marcy.
Even though that lesson came from some fucking brothers I never wanted.
Hayes shoots him the middle finger. Sandy laughs along with the crowd, but when realization sets in, he crinkles his forehead.
Hey now,
he sings loudly. Marcy pats Sandy's shoulder, then shoves him playfully to the side of the couch. Grim continues.
I would do anything for my family. For Bedlam. Of course, part of the package deal was Marcy. My ma.
Grim's eyes meet Marcy's. He's speaking directly to her.
You know, I had a mama once. But I think if she were still alive, she'd be more than happy with you filling in for her. She'd also really like your pot roast.
Marcy waves him off and pretends to be embarrassed, but a smile is growing on her reddening face. Her eyes are filled with a mixture of happy and sad tears. And proud ones, too. Grim shakes his head, struggling to get through to the end. After a few seconds, he looks back at the crowd and steps toward the mantel, grabbing a bottle of whiskey. He holds it high up in the air.
My life,
he shouts. Most of the crowd joins in, chanting right along with him.
My death, my loyalty, my honor, for Bedlam, for brotherhood, for always.
Grim chugs from the bottle and then raises it again to the picture on the mantel of Belly riding his bike with Marcy on the back.
I'll miss you, Pops. Always fucking will.
I'm seeing him for the first time. I'm just a kid, and he's just a teenager. Lost, scared, confused, unfocused, unloved. But he's found his people. He's their leader now. And my heart swells with joy for him. The feeling is profound. Life-changing. I'm shaking. Yes, Grim has changed. Tristan, the boy I met, wasn't capable of speech or being touched. Never mind love. Grim is. The thought is both exciting and absolutely terrifying. Chapter 26. Imogene. The music starts back up. Some people start dancing, including Marcy and Sandy. I didn't know Belly for that long, but enough to know this was exactly what he would have wanted. A celebration, not a tear-filled sad fest. A man wearing a biker's cut appears from the back of the room, just as Grim has almost reached me through the crowd.
Haven't seen you in years, brother. Glad to see you can talk now. And here I thought someone cut out your tongue. Not yet,
Grim says.
Bear, glad you came, brother.
The two men grasp hands in greeting.
You know that Belly was important to the lawless. That man was one of the great ones in my world. I'm honored to have known him. Me too,
Grim says with a tight nod.
I'm sorry, where are my manners?
Bear says with a thick southern drawl, as he notices me standing quietly to the side.
I'm Bear. Who might you be, darling? She ain't your darling,
Grim growls. Bear rakes a tattooed hand through his blonde hair.
No, she ain't. Mine's at home, about to pop with baby bear number 2. How is Thea?
Grim asks.
Knocked up, hormonal, pissed off.
He sighs happily.
And as fucking beautiful as ever.
Grim's hard face softens.
This is Trix.
It's nice to meet you, I say, offering him a smile. I never thought a beard and a cut could be considered gorgeous. But mix that with a deep and slow Southern accent, plus a dazzling kind of charm like you wouldn't believe, and I could see why a normal woman, someone who isn't me, would be attracted to him. Whoever Thea is, she's a lucky woman. Bear is devastatingly gorgeous.
You too, darling,
he says, taking my hand and then pulling me into his hard chest for a quick side hug.
You take care of this son of a bitch. Someone's got to.
No, it's not like that, I begin to say in a panic. Bear's phone rings, and he answers, holding his index finger up in the air.
I told you not to do that, Preppy.
He runs his hand through his hair.
Why? Because you're a fucking idiot, that's why. T's gonna chop off your head, then come for my balls.
He pauses to listen.
Don't you care, Bear me? I'll come slit your motherfucking throat right now.
He holds the phone to his chest.
I gotta take this. It's my little sister.
Bear walks out the front door, and then it's just me and Grim, all alone in the back of the crowd. Two silent enemies who don't want to be. We aren't alone for long. I step to the side as person after person comes up to Grim to offer their condolences. I need some air, and it's probably not a good idea for me to look like I'm clinging to Grim in case Marco has any of his spies here tonight. I need to get out. I need to think. While Grim is busy with condolences, I slip out the sliding glass doors and walk through the backyard. I don't dare go into Grim's room. I just need to be alone to think, and there's too much of him in it. I noticed a footpath that leads into a tangle of woods behind the house. I take the moonlit path. My heart hurts, and I wish I'd gotten to know Belly a lot better than I have. He was so important to Grim. I think he would have ended up being important to me as well. I'm surprised when I see a clearing up ahead. But as I get closer, I realize it's not a clearing at all. The footpath has led me right back to the Marine Stadium under the bridge, where Grim and I had kissed. It's peaceful, quiet. Only the occasional wheezing of a small boat engine as it whizzes by. The moon is full and bright, glistening off the dark water. The graffiti on the chairs is less in your face in the shadows. The space seems more tranquil now. I walked down several steps and just stand there looking out in the middle of the bay, hoping that one day soon all this will be over, and there will come a day where I don't have to go back to Marco or to Los Muertos.
I thought I might find you here.
A familiar voice says from behind me. I swing my head around to find Grim watching me. He's wearing his leather jacket, with the fabric hood pulled over his head, just like that night in the alley. I see you don't have any blood on you this time, I point out. He smiles, and it shoots straight through my gut. My whole body tingles with anticipation and built-up energy that is going to detonate if not released.
Yeah, no blood. That's because tonight, I didn't find my missing cat tangled in plastic behind a dumpster, fighting off a rat 3 times his size. And what did I get for my heroic rescue and rat assassination? Mr. Fuzzy, the ungrateful fuck, clawed at my chest like I'd foiled his plans of trapping the rat himself.
So that's why you were covered in blood that night? I ask.
Yeah, that night anyway.
Grim's face turns serious. He looks over me to the bay.
But don't get it twisted, Trix. I am who I am. They don't call me the executioner because I kill rats.
I know, I say.
I think when this is all over, you should get as far away from Lacking as possible and never come back. I'm in charge now. My life is here, but yours doesn't have to be.
No, I state, crossing my arms over my chest. I swear, Tristan Payne, if you try to push me away again, I'll kill you myself. Grim comes down a few steps, meeting me in the middle of the stadium.
Trix, I'm trying to do the right thing here. Please let me do the right thing for once in my fucking life.
No, I repeat. I'm not an idiot. I know who you are, and I know what you do. And I love all of it. All of you. How stubborn you are. How you know me better than anyone else. How you make me feel. How you've always made me feel.
I'm not that boy anymore,
Grim says. You keep saying that. But I'm not talking about the boy from back then. I'm talking about you as a person. That includes the kid who wrote the letters to the girl who stole from him. That includes the man who has been looking for 5 years. The one who makes me feel like I matter for the first time in my life.
Trix,
Grim says, but I don't finish. I can't. I'm breaking through to him. The only man who has my heart, who's had it for over 5 years. The only person I have ever loved in my entire life.
Trix, you're making doing the right thing really fucking hard right now.
I know, and I don't care. I love you, Grim. I loved you when you were Tristan, and I love you as Grim. There's nothing you can say to change that. I won't let you. My voice cracks. Grim stalks up to me. He growls and lifts me by the waist. He carries me into the shadows of the dome and pushes me against the wall. My legs wrap around his waist. His fingers travel up my thighs, into my dress, grabbing handfuls of my ass.
Say it again,
he demands, his forehead on mine.
Tell me you love me.
I love you, Grim. His lips meet mine. We're desperate for one another, clawing at each other's clothes, pressing forcefully against one another. It doesn't matter how close we get. It's not close enough. It'll never be close enough. Grim doesn't say I love you back. Instead, between kisses, he whispers the same oath from the eulogy he gave for Belly, only different. The words flutter against my lips and slam into my heart.
My life, my death, my loyalty, my honor. For you, for us, for always. You're mine, Trix,
he says, pulling back to stare into my eyes.
Always have been.
He kisses me again. I fumble with his belt. He pushes my hands away to undo it himself. I help him shove his jeans down with my feet.
We don't have a lot of time before people start wondering where we are. I can't be gentle with you.
I place my hand on his cheek and pull him closer with my legs. So don't be. I don't want gentle. I just want him. Us. Joined together for always. But if I've learned anything, it's that life is short. And if tonight's all the universe is going to give us, I'm going to take it. He rips my panties from my body. I gasp as I feel the soft skin around his hard shaft pressed up against my slick entrance. I don't have time to brace myself, mentally or otherwise, when he thrusts inside me fully. Oh my fucking God, it hurts. But I don't tell him to stop. I'd rather feel pain with Grim than pleasure with anyone else. He looks at me, asking a silent question. Whatever you do, I bite out. Don't fucking stop. He groans and again thrusts his hips forward. The pain is still there, as sharp as ever, but there's also a wild need for him. A lust so thick I'm blind to anything else. I don't care that it hurts. I just care that it's Grim who's inside me right now. The need builds and builds. He thrusts harder and harder, with one hand digging into my ass cheek, the other holding me by the back of my neck, his hand tangled in my hair. My head bangs roughly against the concrete wall behind me. Our lips blindly reach for the other, meeting with a clank of teeth and bites of skin. We are crazed and lust-fueled. I've never experienced anything so fucking amazing. My lower stomach tightens and clenches and does 1,000 things it's never done before. I think I'm breaking until the sensation unfurls. Grim continues his furious pace faster, harder, until I am sent off into an oblivion. A tangle of stars behind my eyes. Pleasure crashes into me like the waters of the bay just formed a tidal wave and washed over me. It continues like that for so long, it becomes more painful than it first started. But I never want it to end. I never want us to end. Grim growls my name and looks into my eyes. I feel him harden inside of my body before he releases himself on a strangled cry, my name on his lips. He's still inside me when he holds my face in his hands and repeats his earlier words.
My life, my death, my loyalty, my honor. For you. For us.
His forehead falls to mine.
For always.
Grim leaves first, allowing me enough time to fix myself up before rejoining the funeral. I'm feeling hopeful for the first time in a long time. The moonlight is still bright. The sounds of the funeral party, a mixture of laughter and music, floats in the air all around me. When I get to the end of the path, there's someone waiting for me. I smile, thinking it's Grim, until he steps from the shadows, and I come to a screeching halt.
This was a test, Princessa,
he grinds out. He grabs my arm and squeezes tight. He presses his lips against my ear.
And you fucking failed.
Marco. Chapter 27. Imogene. The entire way back to the compound, Marco is silent. He even whistles and sings along to the radio. I'd prefer anger or yelling to this eerie sort of calm he so rarely exhibits. He pushes me up the steps to his office, and when we're finally there, he slams the door and pushes me hard against the table. He pulls up my dress.
This is on you, EJ. I warned you. Now you're gonna get everything I told you that you would.
Don't do this. You said I was family once, like a sister to you. Marco doesn't stop. I hate the desperation in my cries, but I have no other choice. Marco's threats are about to become reality. My reality. Marco laughs long and loud like a hyena in the desert. My skin feels like 1,000 ants are crawling all over it. My insides are on revolt, and I'm sure I'm about to empty the contents of my stomach, along with some other vital organs, all over Marco's desk.
You're right. You're my sister, my family. I'm the head of this family, and you broke the fucking rules. Now, you're going to have to pay the price. Besides, if you think reminding me that we're family is going to stop me, then you'd be wrong. If you want to know how wrong...
He leans down so close his lips brush mine. I can smell the tequila on his breath, and my stomach rolls.
Then you should ask Gabby.
No. He didn't. I look up into Marco's eyes. He did. It clicks. The reason Gabby's been acting so distant. The reason she's flinched every time I've tried to offer her comfort. The reason why she fake smiles at him all the time, trying to appease him in every way. I should have known from the way she shivers when he enters a room. The deep sadness written all over her face. I've chalked it up to her being unhappy here. I just didn't know how unhappy. I've spent so long hiding my feelings that I didn't stop to think that Gabby was hiding a secret of her own. A horrible, horrible secret. Marco had raped her, his own sister. I'll kill you myself, I scream, as he rips off my dress and tosses it against the wall. The fabric hitting the floor isn't loud, but it might as well be a cymbal, the way the sound shakes in my ears. You'll die for this. Marco unbuckles his belt. He wraps it around my neck, pulling it tight. I'm choking to take in air. I feel the pressure building in my face as he cuts off my air and my circulation. He pushes down his jeans, then fists my panties in his hand, tearing them from my body. He snarls.
You want me to die?
He chuckles, then bites down hard on my ear.
You first, bitch.
I'm not always present in my everyday life. My mind is always elsewhere, adrift in one daydream or another to escape reality. But never have I closed my eyes and prayed to a God I wasn't sure existed, for my mind to be anywhere other than in my own body. Until now. Marco forces himself inside of me. I scream. His hand covers my mouth. I can't breathe. He pulls tighter on the belt around my neck. I see stars. Fighting him off is as useless as trying not to feel my body and soul as they're invaded. I heave like I'm going to vomit as his sweat-soaked skin rubs against mine, his hardness thrusting again and again inside me. His grunts of angry pleasure sound like the very worst out-of-tune song that I'm being forced to listen to over and over again. Finally, I stop resisting. My legs go limp as all the fight leaves me. After all, it's a pointless use of my strength. If I keep fighting, I'll die. It's as simple as that. Instead, I will myself to be somewhere else. Anywhere else. While Marco hammers away at my insides, at what's left of my innocence, I start to drift. I don't float above my own body like a ghost. Fuck that. I don't need to look down and see the horribleness I'm escaping. I don't want to understand what's going on, because there is no understanding. Only pain, hurt, anger. Suddenly, I can feel the warmth of the sun as it beats down on my face. I open my eyes. I'm at my favorite spot in the park, sitting under the big oak right in the middle. I've got a great view of the pond, and my favorite pen pressed up against the corner of my lip. I stare down at where I left off on my story. Only a few seconds pass before the pen is moving across the page as if it's possessed, and my hand is just along for the ride. I place myself inside my words, escaping into one of my fairy tales like I never have before. Two lovers, cursed by an evil sorcerer to forever live on opposite sides of a vast lake, long to be together. If they so much as stepped one toe inside the water, they'd be sucked to the bottom where they would surely drown. But they grew tired, weary, and weak, living without the other. One day, they both jumped into the water. Desperate to be together, both were willing to risk drowning for the small possibility that they could reach one another before the curse took hold. Just as expected, the dark promise became a reality. The waters of the lake sucked them under and swirled them around and around until they were dizzy. Though they knew it was their end, they both kept one hand stretched out toward the other as they were pulled deeper and deeper to the bottom of the lake. Because to them, death didn't mean that all hope was lost. At that exact moment, just as they were sure they'd drawn their very last breaths, their hands touched. They held on with all they had, wrapping their arms around each other. Finally reunited after an eternity apart. The dark waters cleared and calmed. Together, the lovers floated to the surface. But they didn't stop there. They floated higher and higher above the water, hand in hand, over the trees and through the clouds. Life wasn't worth living without the other. They took the risk. They lost. Or maybe they won, depending on how you look at it. And they died, happily ever after. Chapter 28. Emma Jean. Death is too easy a solution for Marco. Figures. The fucker is always doing shit the hard way. I wake up groggy, not sure if I'd slept, passed out, or died. The searing pain from both inside and outside of my body lets me know that I was very much alive. There is no floating for me, no hand bound in Grimm's, no Grimm anywhere. There is only pain, in my body, in my heart. When my vision clears, I find myself alone. I feel a rush of relief, but it's short-lived when I find that I'm bound by both my hands and feet. Tied to the bed, my limbs spread like Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. My inner thighs hurt. Everything is sore. I feel as if I've been scraped from the inside out with a coat hanger. Something smells like death. It's me. There's dried vomit on my chin and all over my crumpled dress. My legs are stained with streaks of my own urine and Marco's cum. I pull at my restraints to no avail, but I keep trying anyway. I have to get free. I must get to Grimm. I stop my movements altogether when I hear voices coming from the other side of the door. I close my eyes and pretend to be passed out, in case whoever is out there decides to enter the room. The voices grow closer, louder. It's a man and a woman talking, and I'm sure as the shiver that runs down my spine that the man is Marco.
She was passed the fuck out last time I checked. Won't be up for a while. Taught that bitch a lesson.
The door opens, and I can see light behind my closed eyelids. She's not dead, the woman says with an annoyed bite in her voice. Offended I'm still breathing.
Calm your shit. The bitch is no use to us dead. She needs to be alive, so we have leverage.
The woman groans in frustration. She raises her voice. What we want is power, Marco. And this stupid bitch holds so much power over Grimm that her death would crush him. Don't you see? If he's down, his organization is down. While he's crushed, we crush Bedlam. All of them. Then the town is ours. Truly ours. Holy shit. I recognize the woman's voice. I steady my breathing and fight every instinct to open my eyes. My insides turn cold. The pain in my body turns into a pain in my chest, my soul, my heart, which skips several beats. The need to cough is strong, but I manage to swallow it down.
She's no use to us dead. Bedlam will seek revenge. With her alive, we can negotiate and take it all. New territories. Grimm will give everything up for his gringa pussy,
Marco argues.
Then, when we have everything,
Marco's voice turns sickeningly sweet.
We'll kill them all.
The woman sighs heavily. I hope you're right, because if you're not, you just bought us a fucking death sentence. Marco scoffs and sucks on his teeth.
The bitch is practically dead already.
The door creaks open, and I risk opening my eyes just enough to where I'm looking through tiny slits. Long, thick, dark hair trails behind the woman who follows Marco out. She tugs on his arm, and he turns around. I close my eyes just in time. I wasn't talking about her. If this all goes to shit, it will be you in the ground, she threatens. If not at the hands of Grimm or his boys, then by mine.
Don't get your panties in a twist. I got this.
The door slams shut. The voices become distant murmurs. I exhale, and suddenly I can't breathe. My chest is tight, and my lungs are on fire. I cough and suck in a strangled breath. A tear rolls down my cheek. I begin to ask myself in a series of panicked questions. Why? What did I do? What could I have said? A tear rolls down my cheek, stinging my skin. What could I have possibly done to make Gabby hate me so much? This concludes